Yo, big up. We're going to do a little 10 minutes or so about the transfers. Guacarez is here. Guac Tour. I have to give Yasa TV the props for that. That is nasty work. Guac Tour. Jesus God. Is she even still around? The last time I saw her, she was lounging around on the beach after scamming people out of a shitload of money with a Huck Tour coin and looking like she has a little bit of a big belly. Not that I've ever anything that's a big belly. You know, that's not I'm trying to kind of like body shame her or anything like that. Anyway, this video isn't about Huck Tour. It's about Guac Tour. And what is Guac going to bring to the tour? Is he going to come over, pause, to Hong Kong? I think they will try to get him over to Hong Kong. I think he'll be like very like keen to get over to the link up with the team in Hong Kong. However, the point of this video for the next 10 minutes or so, and leave a comment in the chat, leave a like, subscribe, of course, helps grow the channel. We will be doing more content soon. However, what I was going to say is all this enough? Is Guacarez kind of like a bit of smoke and daggers in the sense of, if you think about all the transfers that we have done so far this season, and they have been plentiful, they have been decent. They're just been replacements, and we haven't had the goings out. We need to offload players. We still need to bring in more players. Have we set ourselves up to be in a position to win the title? That is the main issue that we want to discuss. Have we set ourselves up to win a title? Have we set ourselves up to be proper contenders on multiple fronts? Is this squad, the way they've set it up, enough? When Arteta sits there in a press conference and he says, after 6 years of being in this club, that he is still short. We are still short. We still need more. Whose fault is that then? I'm not laying the blame solely on him. However, you have to understand that historically, and this is statistically provable, and this is also quotably provable, he told all of us publicly, Arteta, that he agreed every single signing and every single transfer decision that Edu made. Edu gets made a scapegoat. Edu has been made a massive scapegoat in all of this. That's why he was moved on, because they didn't want to move to Arteta, because it's a massive admission of failure. And AJ is here. Big up AJ, man. Big up AJ, man. Good to see you. Just going to do a little short video, so it's not going to be like too long, but like really good to see you, man. Just talking about the transfers and just talking about what is the reality of the transfers. What is the reality of what we've done? Guacarez is obviously the main guy. He is the guy that we needed more than anything. But the rest of the transfers, for me, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know how you feel, AJ, about our transfers, but they're just replacements. They're not players that have come in to move us on to win a title. However, what I will say that goes against the grain a little bit about, you know, the type of guys we watch. I know we love to watch Shane, we love to watch Lee, we love to watch Northside, and they've been denigrating certain players. I would actually go against something that these guys are saying. I know I obviously agree with a lot of what they say, and I kind of acquiesce with a lot of what they say. I would say that Norgard is actually a decent signing. I think that Norgard is a little bit of a dark horse of a signing. I think he's quite a useful signing, and I quite like the way he's conducted himself in the first game. I think he's going to be actually, it wouldn't surprise me if he starts the game tomorrow against Newcastle. Fucking hell, it's in like sort of 10 hours as well, isn't it? 10 hours? Is my maths wrong? No, my maths is wrong, but it's, you know, it's roughly, you know, it's at 12:30. Good Lord, actually, what is the time that the Newcastle game starts? Am I going mad here? Yes, we do need Eze, by the way. Yeah, you're absolutely right. We do need Eze. I think we're going to get Eze, because I don't know if you saw this, AJ. There was the Crystal Palace home and away kit promotion. It didn't include him. So, like, why would you promote your home and away kit as the new Crystal Palace home and away kit without your, basically, Eze is their star player? To me, also, we should take Eze and Mateta. I wanted Mateta, you know, as a sort of backup. For me, an ideal thing would have been getting Eze in, getting Mateta in, getting Guacarez in, and getting on the left wing. I don't know. Well, we obviously Rodrigo, but I hesitate to say about Rodrigo because I never thought that was the thing that was ever going to happen. So it kind of, in my mind, it doesn't really count to say it. But yeah, I don't know what they would have done about the left wing, because I don't think they were ever going to get Rodrigo. I don't think they were ever going to get anybody else for the left wing. My personal opinion is Madueke is going to start on the left wing. And I said that a while ago, and a few people have started saying it as well. Do not be surprised if Madueke starts, because 52 million quid, you're going to stick him on the bench? Yeah, I don't think so. But then also you could argue that what you're going to do in Martinelli, what you're going to do with Trossard, something needs to happen in the next few weeks in terms of outgoings. And I think that now we're going to enter the realm of players that are going to go out. We've brought a few players in. I think we're going to bring Eze in. I think we are going to bring Eze in. I think, actions speak louder than words. We've not had any words about what we're going to do with Eze, but if Eze is not in the Crystal Palace official home kit or away kit photo shoots, that seems to imply he ain't going to be around. Whether he comes to us or goes somewhere else, I don't know. But the only team I've heard that is, being competitive with us is Tottenham. So, look, AJ, we know that if it's us versus Tottenham for a player, guess who's going to win? It's going to be us. So I do think that Eze in the next fortnight is going to be coming to us. I don't know when they're going to announce it. Maybe they even announce it a little bit later. He scored a banging goal. I don't know if you saw his goal against, I don't know who they were playing. Crystal Palace were in a friendly. He scored a lovely chip. I don't know if you've seen it, man. Yes, exactly. Mateta seems to be, he's such a slept-on player, isn't he? He's kind of like, it amazes me that no one's in for him. He's such a great, for a team like Arsenal or even like a Man City or even any big club, he's not a starting striker, and that's no offense to him or anything, but he's such a great backup option for a big club. And it's amazing to me that we haven't got him, or we haven't gone in for him, or other clubs or other big clubs haven't gone in for him, because he's not going to cost that much. How much do you think that Mateta is going to cost? You're not going to have to pay like 50 million for him, are you? You're going to be looking at, Crystal Palace will probably take a good, I should message my mate. Oh, it's going to be asleep. It's 2:32. But I've got one of my good friends is a Crystal Palace fan, and we were talking more about Eze the other day. We never really talked about Mateta. I would say that you could get Mateta for 30 to 35, which is really nothing, in this day and age. So especially given the potential impact that he can have. Do you know what I mean? Like, Mateta is a very underrated player. I mean, like, I always stick him in my fantasy football league. Unfortunately, he had the injury and all that kind of stuff, but he's wasted at Crystal Palace, absolutely wasted at Crystal Palace. And he's really, really perfect for, the unfortunate thing about Mateta is he's one of those players who's never going to be the star player at a big club because of the way he is. He's not quite good enough to be like that leading star player. He's never going to be a Thierry Henry. He's never going to be a Gyökeres. He's never going to be a Aguero leading 30, got Haaland. He's never going to be that kind of player. However, he has a very pertinent role that he can play as a backup striker. And, saying backup makes it seem kind of like a little bit almost insulting in a way, but it's not insulting. We don't mean that in an insulting way. Like, it's a very important role to play. I mean, Giroud played it okay for us. Unfortunately, he went on a run of games where Ozil kept putting things on the plate for him and he couldn't finish. So, but there is an important role for a competent backup player who's clinical to push a team on like Arsenal to go and win a title and go and win trophies. And I think Mateta would have been great for that. It wouldn't surprise me if Mateta still, because we got quite a, what is it? The window ends in what? Ends in September, doesn't it? It's the 1st of September, I think. So we still got a lot of time. Wouldn't surprise me if Mateta moved. But if we get Eze, Crystal Palace, they're going to be like, fucking hell, we don't want to sell Mateta as well. Because Crystal Palace are then suddenly looking at some serious issues. Because who have they brought in to replace? They've not brought in any strikers, man. Trade Trossard. Yeah, Trossard for Vissa. Yeah, Trossard for Vissa, man. Like, Trossard has been okay. He's just too sporadic, isn't he? He's kind of like, he's not What I would say about Trossard is he's not reliable. Like, how can I put this? Trossard will get you goals. He will come up clutch every now and then, but he's not that reliable. It's not like Man United when they had Solskjaer. They could bring him Solskjaer off the bench. You kind of knew that he was going to score. With Trossard, it's like, okay, we can bring him off the bench and he might score, but he might flop. And that's not a massive diss at him because I do like Trossard. I do think he's a very talented player, but he just doesn't have that consistency of clutch. People tend to say that he's a very clutch player. I just don't think he has that consistency of clutch. Not the it's not a consistency that will win you a title. And this is kind of what we're talking about. We're trying to get together a bunch of players that can win the title. And this is why a lot of people have a problem with Odegaard. This is why a lot of the people have a problem with people like Martinelli. Rightly so. I mean, I've been in like a few Twitter spats recently, ex-mutant spats, where they say that Odegaard is one of the greatest captains we've had at the club. And I'm thinking, whoa. How long have you been watching this club? Because Odegaard is not that level. You know, he's a decent player. And this is one of the problems that we have. We have a lot of decent players, but decent players do not a title win. Decent players do not a Champions League win. And this is the problem. A lot of our fan base, especially the younger fans, and I don't mean you, AJ, because I know you're a younger fan, but you got your head screwed on. A lot of the younger fans who haven't got their head screwed on that well as you, they see these decent players as players who are going to win a title. And like folks like me who are a little bit older, we've seen these kind of players and we know that it doesn't quite work. It doesn't quite work. They're okay and they can kind of get you sort of there, but it doesn't quite work. And this is what we've seen because we're second. So this is kind of what we've cultivated because we've got a load of decent players. Having a load of decent players will get you second. Will get you to a semi-final in the Carabao Cup, in the Champions League. Because you have decent players, you can't get to the final. You can't win the title. You can't win the final. And this idea seems to be lost on a lot of these top gooners, man. So, yeah, Odegaard will never be on the level of our great players. And I was having even this, I can't even bother to bring it up on Twitter. I wonder if I can find it. I'll look at it in a second. But like, I was having a conversation with someone on Twitter before, and it was kind of like, basically my point was Odegaard shouldn't be captain. There's better leaders in the team, whether that's Gabriel or even Rice. And then I was saying, look, comparatively, look at what we had before with Adams, Vieira, even Fabregas, who's kind of like, okay, you could argue maybe wasn't the best captain, but Fabregas was still a better captain than Odegaard because Fabregas used to lead by example. Fabregas was a bit soft on the players. He wasn't like a Tony Adams or Vieira who would be harsh on the players, who would grab the players by the scruff of the neck and be like, fucking come on, we're going to sort this out. Fabregas wasn't that type of captain. He would be a captain who would lead by example. And I was getting dissed for this because it was kind of like, oh, how, haven't you seen what Odegaard has done for the team? Well, no. No, I haven't seen what Odegaard has done for the team. Like, I mean, yes, we've got to second. And this is kind of the point, isn't it? It's not good enough. Look, we're not oblivious to what Arteta and the players have done so far. We're not oblivious to the fact that they've got us challenging again. But what these guys seem to be oblivious to is that isn't a good enough level. We can't keep that going. And there's way too many people who seem to be satisfied with, oh, well, if we're just challenging, that's going to be fine. Do you know what I mean? We're just going to be happy enough. Mikel Arteta can stay here just as long as he's got us challenging. And the idea being that if he goes, the whole club is going to fall apart. And that's the kind of amusing thing to me. But anyway, yes, Odegaard is a problem because I don't see Arteta having the cojones to drop him from the captaincy. but it is the best thing he could do. I mean, I would. Okay, AJ, what would you say? Who would you say would be the captain for you? Let's say that we can get. Let's say that Arteta decides to strip Odegaard of the captaincy. AJ, who would you give it to? It's one of two. It's one of two, I think. Who would you give it to? I know who I would give it to. I'll say in a sec. I don't know if he's still there. Maybe he's not still there. Okay. I would give it to Gabriel. Gabriel's not exactly the perfect player. He's not exactly the perfect defender, though he has come on leaps and bounds since the last 2-3 years or so. So for me, Gabriel is our captain. He shouts, he screams, he leads. Rice is vice captain. Odegaard doesn't even lead by example. That's the thing. He doesn't even lead by example. I mean, what Fabregas used to do is he used to actually lead by example. He would play killer passes. He would play killer assists. He would get the right goals. He would get like the goal he got against Tottenham when we went, was it 1-0 up against Tottenham? We got back to the centre circle. We nicked it in. We went and got a second goal. Such a brilliant performance from Cesc Fabregas in that game. What is wrong with my YouTube? Is it actually live? This is kind of weird. Oh, my YouTube is actually working. Fucking hell, man. Just weird, mate. Do you know what? Sometimes the way StreamYard works is just very, very strange. It doesn't tell you what the hell is going on. But anyway, so what we need to do in terms of getting back to what we were talking about in terms of the transfer market and what we need to do, everything we've done, apart from Guacares, is replacements. Mascara coming in, Zubimendi coming in, Norgard coming in. Madueke is a kind of replacement signing as well, because I think that guy is going on the left. That guy is going on the left. Do not be surprised when we start at Old Trafford and Noni Madueke, Nonaldinho, by the way, which was a horrendous thing to hear. Nonaldinho, Noni Madueke is going to go on the left at Man United. Trust me, because Arteta understands what's happening with Gabriel Martinelli, and we can all see what's happening with Martinelli. It's unfortunate because Martinelli was so good under Emery. He was banging, 15, 16 goals from a central position, and then he got moved out to the left and he got asked to track back and just wasn't going to work out. And you could almost see, well, not almost, you could definitely see against AC Milan the same sort of scenarios happening again. Same old story happening again. And that is because Arteta has gone down this path of regressing since the 22-23 season, where we were kind of like attack, very, very free-flowing football. Arteta will not go back to that now because he's so cautious and he's so sort of obsessive with, okay, by the way, as well, remember Arteta, when he was at Man City, was the defensive coach. This is something that people don't tend to realize. Arteta was the defensive coach at Man City. He was in charge of the defensive drills. He was in charge of the defensive line in the sort of training ground matches and all this kind of stuff. So there is no surprise that we have kind of excelled in defensive areas whilst he has been here. Although I don't even know if we're that good in defensive areas, because last season, how many leads did we lose? How many leads did we lose from being 1-0 up, 2-1 up, and all this kind of stuff that turned into draws? Man, it's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. And I don't necessarily see it changing. But the thing is, my main worry about the incoming season, signings aside, is the continuation of the injuries. I don't necessarily think that the injuries are going to end just because the season ends. It's not like you draw a line underneath it. Okay, the injuries end. The injuries occur because of bad squad management. Anyone with a functioning brain knows that, okay, the Odegaard injury was a bit of a freak because it was done on international duty. I'm not going to count that, obviously. However, the other injuries, most of their injuries, the hamstring injuries specifically, occurred because players were being overplayed and they weren't being rotated properly. They weren't being given the proper rest. I don't see that changing. So I see us going into the season, getting to October, getting to November, December. Gabriel's going to be injured. Gabriel's already injured. Havertz will be injured. Not that it really matters that much. Saka will get injured. It does not surprise. It will not surprise me if Saka succumbs to a new injury very, very soon, because these guys are going to be constantly played and played, and Arteta is not going to learn his lesson. And also, not only is he not going to learn his lesson, he is going to be desperate. He is desperate now to win something, and he is obviously, through his desperacy, going to try to play his best players as much as possible, which is understandable. I can understand that, but it is a situation of his own making, because prior to all this, he never got the right backup. He never got the right amount of backup, so he didn't have to do this. But now he has to do this because he hasn't got a proper backup. Yes, Madueke is here. Great. Madueke isn't going to go on the right wing. Madueke is going to go on the left wing. It's not going to work out. We're going to have to rely on Guacares doing some madness. And it's basically what's going to have to be relied upon is Saka to pass to Nani. To Guacares. Because do you really see Martin Odegaard creating chance after chance for Guacares? Do you really see that happening now? Because I think this guy is spent. I think Saka is going to be the one who's going to have to link up with Guacares and make it work. The left-hand side, whether it's Martinelli, whether it's Trossard, whether it's Madueke, is dead. This is not a title-winning left-hand side. It died when Tierney fucked off. When Tierney was here, Tierney was linking up with Martinelli. Martinelli was scoring goals. Tierney gets dropped. Martinelli gets worse. The goals dry up. Is it a coincidence? Well, I don't know. You decide. The left-hand side and the potential for injuries, I say potential, I say like kind of like inevitability of more and more injuries, is what worries me mainly. It's not necessarily chances created. It's not necessarily do we dominate the midfield? Does Zubimendi do what Partey can do? Is Rice going to play his role properly? Is Odegaard going to get into it properly? It's how can we keep these players fit when they are continuously flogged to death? And they are being flogged to death for the past 2 years. And this isn't going to suddenly stop. This is my point. It isn't going to suddenly stop. So, I mean, unless Saka's going to be arrested more, maybe I'm wrong. Okay, maybe Saka's going to be arrested more. Maybe with the Gyökeres and Havertz, they're going to interchange a bit more. I don't know. He's going to have to come up with something that prevents these frigging injuries. Otherwise, they're just going to keep occurring. It's going to happen in October. It's going to happen, especially in the winter months. You're going to have injuries in December. You're going to have injuries in January. And then people are going to start going, oh, we're unlucky with injuries again. Oh, how can we be unlucky with injuries again? Well, they don't realize that, okay, well, this is a recurrent theme. If it's a recurrent theme, it's not necessarily luck, is it? You have to look beyond the fact that it could be luck and see how other factors are affecting us. Maybe there's something contrived. Maybe there's something that we need to change in terms of our tactics and in terms of our squad rotation. Just a thought. Just a thought. Victor Gyökeres and Christian means Arteta has brought. Yeah, I remember you saying Yeah, you said that on the other stream. I think it was Shane's, wasn't it? And I was commenting on it and thinking, Jesus Christ, is it 39 players? It's absolutely crazy for him to sit there in a press conference having signed 6 players on top of the so that's like on top of the 33 to make it 39, and then claim and then be complaining that he still hasn't got enough. You've been here 6 years, guy, and you're still complaining about being short. That's not an us problem. That's a you problem. You did come out, Arteta, and say that every single transfer that Edu had, you agreed to. So if every single, that is a quote you can look up, every single transfer that you agreed to, then why are you complaining about being short if you agreed to them? If you didn't want to say, well, do you know what? I agreed to this transfer, but we need this, that, or the other more. That was never said. He said and asserted that he agreed with everything that Edu did to cultivate the correct squad. And yet here we are. Robinson from Fulham. Yeah, could be. Whoops. Whoops. The thing about the left back position I was going to say before I knocked my own glasses off was, isn't it amazing that we're still going for left backs? And the funny thing is, yes, we do need a left back in theory, because Miles Lewis-Skelly should be playing in midfield. He's not going to play in midfield. We're not going to see him experimented in midfield against Newcastle or Tottenham in Hong Kong. Miles Lewis-Skelly is going to remain at left back, which is to some degree fine because he's a great player at left back. But I would say he's even more of a great player in central midfield. I still maintain that he's kind of quite a Patrick Vieira type player. And I was on Northside's channel and I got a bit of side eye when I said that many months ago. But I do think he's got that thing about him. He's got a bit of a Vieira thing about him. So yes, in theory, if we did move him into the position that he probably should be, we would need to get another left back. Because Calafiori ain't that. I mean, Calafiori at best is a centre back, but even at a centre back, he ain't even that good. And then what's left? We don't have anything left, do we? So, gosh. Oh God, is that true? Is it 7 years in December 19th? Oh, Jesus. I'll have to take 1 minute to absorb that. Seven. Has he been here 7 years? No, come on. He started in 20. When did Arteta? Is it 6 years? It must be 6 years, AJ. Please tell me that you're wrong. What was Arteta's first day? Arteta's 6 years, isn't it? Please tell me that's wrong. It's not 7 years. Arteta's first game, Arsenal. No, Arsenal manager, you idiots. Manager. First is Arsenal manager. Bloody hell, why is it so difficult to just find a date? Give me a date, you dickheads. Arteta took... Okay, so Mikel Arteta took charge of his first game as Arsenal manager on Boxing Day in 2019 away at Bournemouth. So 6 years on Boxing Day. 6 years on Boxing Day. Thank God. 6 years. No, it's 6 years. 6 years, AJ. Not 7. Thank God. I'm so pleased that that's the case. But it could become 7. One thing I will say is, because I'm gonna wrap up fairly soon, so I was only gonna do 10 minutes, and then AJ, you appeared, and it's kind of like, oh, we can just talk for a long time. In fact, we can just talk whatever. If you're around for a bit, we can just keep talking. I'm not too bothered. What I'll ask you, because I need to just quickly run to the bathroom. What I'll ask you is, do you think that, let's say we run through the season and we don't win anything again, we get to May 2026, we've not won anything. We know that Arteta has one last year on his contract, runs till, I think, summer 2027. Do you think the board sacks him if he doesn't win anything? Do you think that the fans will vote with their feet like they did with Wenger? I think it's a bit. I'm not too sure. I don't know if the stadium will empty. I don't know if there's going to be enough pressure on him. So yeah, let me just. I'll pop to the toilet. I'll be back in a sec. Maybe we go to an hour. Maybe we do an hour. If you're still around for a bit, I can do an hour. Then I'll probably have to go. But yeah, let me just. I'll be back in one. Well, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I hope the fans do what they did when it was the Wenger situation. Like, if you talk to, I don't know if you've seen the streams with Aaron and Kenny have talked about, especially at the back end of last season. They talked about how. Oh God, I need to turn that light off. I'm a bit funny with lights. Just one second. Sorry about that. Yeah, so Aaron and Kenny at the back end of last season, in the sort of like latter games of last season, talked about how there were fights going on in the concourse, about how people were like fighting over whether Arteta should stay or not. Obviously, it's very reminiscent of when Wenger was going, because there was fights about Wenger in, Wenger out, and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, the question is, will it turn that much in the next 12 months? And I was on Northside's channel. I'm not sure if you were there. I don't remember that you were there, but my memory is terrible. Maybe you were there. I don't know. And I was saying to Northside, and I think Real King was there, and I can't remember who else was there. Someone else was there. Can't remember. Anyway, sorry. And we were saying, like, will the fans vote with their feet, which is essentially kind of what you were saying. Another 2 hours. Yeah, I could do a little bit of time. I've got plenty of time. I've not got like massive plans or anything. So yeah, let's just stay and chill anyway. We'll just stay and chill and chat. So yeah, I mean, well, I don't think the fans will vote with their feet enough yet, which is bizarre because it's been okay. So let's fast forward. Okay, let's say we don't win anything, and like we fast forward to May 2026. Then we're getting to like 7 years. Then we're getting to 7 years, and it's like, well, how do you look at the club? How do you view the club it's like I've said on quite a few streams recently. I had this sort of like, to some degree, epiphany about how these top gooners view the club. I think what it is they just don't view us as a big club. And when you start to realize that they don't view us as a big club, it starts to make a bit more sense why they have these kind of lower expectations and how they're happy to be kind of just challenging, sort of thing. It's very bizarre because on the one hand, they will say these things about, oh, well, you need to give him more time, any excuse under the sun, right? There's excuse after excuse, excuse after excuse after excuse. But then when it comes to other teams, if it comes to Liverpool, if it comes to Man United, if it comes to Tottenham and Chelsea, they will be the first ones to pour scorn over their failures. They will be the first ones to chastise their failures and mock them for whatever little failure that they have, which they are supposedly not supposed to have as a big club. But when you reflect that back onto Arsenal, it's like, oh, no. He's had to build. He inherited a very, very bad squad, which he won a FA Cup with, by the way, which he won his only trophy with, by the way. And he's had to inherit this. He's had to do this. He's had all this time. He's had all these problems. It's very weird, isn't it? I mean, AJ, I don't know what, like, you think about it, it's just such a weird psychology. I mean, like, I work in, like, as you know, we talked about before, like, I work in psychiatry. I have done for 20 years. And it's a very strange psychology that I see with the fans of Arsenal, the top gooner type fans, that they are perfectly happy to big up Arsenal as a big club if we're trying to compare ourselves to the other rivals. But when we're trying to talk about what we should be doing, specifically us as a club under Mikel Arteta, oh, no, we need to give him time. And it's just very incongruent thinking. It's very weird thinking. I just don't really get it, man. Do not get it. Yeah, exactly. And that's it. This is kind of what I was saying before. Like, we're not oblivious. We're not oblivious to the fact that Arteta has done some good. We're not oblivious to the fact that a manager could have come in and done worse. But my point is, a manager could have come in and done better, but they don't seem to accept that. And also, on top of that, they seem to have this incredible irrational fear that when Arteta goes, we're going to plummet down the table. Not forgetting that when he did come in, we did plummet down the table. And as you say, enough is enough. This is almost exactly the phrase that I've said before. It's kind of like, well done, Mikel, for cultivating a squad that has got us back challenging and has got us back second, and has got us doing well in the Champions League. Well done for that. Again, I'm not oblivious to that. I'm not trying to mock that or like downgrade that. But you do need to do better. You are being paid as the fourth highest paid manager in the world. With that wage comes the appropriate amount of pressure, e.g., win something major. That's what he needs to do. And if he doesn't, what are the repercussions? This is what my point is. Are the repercussions that he's not going to be fired, or are the repercussions that he is going to be fired? I am still kind of like super debating. Actually, I've got a question for you, AJ. I've got a question for you. Just popped into my head. I'll just finish my point. But I don't know whether they view Arteta as this guy who's going to be kind of like moving us forward or not. What I do think is that the more money that they give him, the more they're going to be like, actually, do you know what? We've given you this and this and this and this. We've given you a lot of money. We've given you close to 800, 900 million now. You need to sort of give us something back. Because it's only so long we can be happy with finishing in top four. Because make no mistake, if you're a billionaire owner of a football club, it's okay if you're finishing in top four, but you're going to get your mates who are going to start taking the piss out of you if you don't win. Like, because if you got Todd Bowley, who's another American owner, who's winning shit with Chelsea, make no mistake, people are going to be taking the piss out of the Kroenkes. I don't know how much that affects them or how much they're going to be kind of like crazy about that. But I just wonder, because I know these guys, I'm not saying that I know billionaires, but like I know a few wealthy people. I know that the circles that they're running, there's a bit of banter. There's definitely banter. Like there's banter between us. There's banter between anyone. They get banter as well. They'll be getting bantered about not winning anything, especially now. And it can't keep going on. And what these top gunners don't seem to understand is the longer we go without this success, and this is the most pertinent point for me. This is the most pertinent point. The most pertinent point for me. I'll take a little sip of my banana vodka. This is banana vodka. I was going to get chocolate vodka. They didn't have chocolate. How can you not have chocolate? Well, I got banana. It's actually quite nice. The most pertinent thing is if you go, say, 7 or 8 years, as we're potentially going to go without winning anything, it doesn't matter what your revenue is. When you're a billionaire in that kind of like upper echelon circle, you're going to have other upper echelon people who are going to start to take the piss, just like we would. Like if you and me, AJ, were millionaires, and there was other people we hung out with who are millionaires, and let's say you owned a club, I owned a club, and like we had 2 other mates who owned clubs. If our 2 mates were winning with their clubs and our clubs weren't winning, they're ripping the piss out of us. Yes, we might be winning in terms of getting profit, but not trophies. But the guys who are winning the trophies would be still ripping on us. They'd be taking the piss out of us. And I just wonder whether the Kroenkes are starting to experience that. It's kind of like, well, you've got this guy Arteta in. Okay, it's been like 6 years now. He's won 1 FA Cup. He came and won 1 FA Cup. But what's he done since then? And I think that's a reasonable thing to. It's not an unreasonable thing to ask, is it? It's not unreasonable. It's not unreasonable. And I think that kind of like you're almost kind of like you're so chastised for even criticizing, man. Is it 800? Oh God Almighty, man! Is it 892 million? I have to take my glasses off. 892 million. Is that right? Oh my God! Is it 800? Is it really? Is it really 892 million? Fucking hell! I need to pause for a little bit, but now you said that. 892 million. And then people want to try and say to us, "Oh, well, what can we do? We can't compete with Man City. We can't compete. We can't compete with Liverpool because they're spending so much money on." I don't get it, man. I just don't get. I don't get. Sorry for pausing. I don't get the constant excuse making. I don't get the constant, oh, well, it'll be kind of like better next time. Oh, well, we can't compete with Man City. They got other people. Man City haven't won the Champions League every year, by the way. So obviously other teams are able to compete with Man City and win the Champions League. So what are you talking about? Man City might have all the money in the world, but they won the Champions League, once in the last 10 years? Twice? Was it once? Twice? So this argument that, oh, well, we can't compete with Man City because they've got so much money. Well, how many times have they won the Champions League? Not many. In fact, once. £892 million. Fucking hell, mate. Honestly. Well, this is so AJ, this is like another good point that, how can I put it? So basically, when these fans go, Well, look what he took us from. Look where we were. Well, we weren't in 20th. What happened was we finished fifth, which was 2 points off. Emery was 2 points off third. I'm not trying to say that Emery should have stayed. I think Emery probably should have gone. In retrospect, I know hindsight is a bit of a wonderful thing. Emery probably should have gone because he wasn't hitting those marks. However, when Arteta came in, he made it worse. He finished, well, he brought us down to the 20th. Like you say, he brought us down 20th and 15th. We were 20th when Tottenham were top, by the way. We finished 8th and 5th. Why was that acceptable? That was apparently acceptable, and I don't know why. Because what gets me about that as well, AJ, as well, is that at that point, I don't think the sort of brainwashing PR was at its peak. This is what's kind of like a little bit weird to me, because I suppose maybe people thought that, oh, well, he's not Emery and blah blah blah, but he was doing way worse than Emery for a long time. Emery didn't have us bottom of the table. Emery didn't have us 15th. Emery didn't have us finishing 8th. Emery didn't have us finishing 8th again. And then he finished 5th the third time, which was what Emery did the first time. And yet he was continually backed. It's like most people have said, like, this manager is, like, can you name me a more cosseted, comforted, supported, bigged up manager than this? He is the most, he's looked in. Fair play to the guy. I don't particularly like him. I'm not a massive Arteta fan, as you may know, as you may have figured out. But his ability to manipulate and be Machiavellian via public relations, PR, nonsense, twisting reality, twisting words so you kind of hear what you want to hear, or not hear what you want to hear, but you hear what he wants you to hear that is satisfactory enough that you won't question it, which is kind of the skill. And he's quite skilled at that. If you saw the questions that were asked him, if you saw the questions that Curtis asked him the questions, Curtis from, I say from AFTV, it's not really from AFTV, but if you saw the question that Curtis asked him in the press conference when he was with Norgard in the press conference, he said, well, you know, do you feel pressure to win trophies? He waffle. Never accounted that. Never talked about that. He was, well, you know, we got internal pressures. We got the. Never specifically talked about how I feel about the pressure of winning a trophy again for Arsenal. And he's very good. He's just a politician. And this is what pisses me off, because I used to like watching Wenger's press conference, you know, even at the end of Wenger, when Wenger was being shit, when Wenger was not very good, you could stick on a Wenger press conference and you could learn something, because Wenger would give you a little bit of an insight into the way the opposition played. He would give you a bit of an insight into the way that Arsenal played. He would at least give you something to work with that you could kind of learn from. What Arteta seems to do in press conferences, he's just waffle. He just waffles. He has this politician way of speaking that is very stark and obvious. And it's just boring, man. It's kind of like, I've seen this over and over again. It's kind of like, this is why I never watch the press conferences. It's annoying with me, because even though I wanted Arsene Wenger gone, I used to tune into his press conferences I used to tune into his pre-game conferences, and I would tune into his post-game conferences, because even though I wanted him sacked, I still thought that listening to him talk about football give you some kind of insight into the way the games play, into the way that certain players played, into the way that he looked at the way that the opposition manager was setting up and how he would like sort of deal with the tactics. With Arteta, you just get waffle. You just get absolute waffle. Arsene Wenger, yeah. If we'd have kept Arsene, like, what? Man, do you know what, AJ? Look, if we'd have kept Arsene Wenger and given him 900, if we'd have kept Arsene Wenger and given him 900 million, like, can you imagine? We'd have won a bit more than one FA Cup. Arsene Wenger, even at the sort of mildly decrepit thinking that he had, that's maybe unfair. Maybe I'm being unfair on him. I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. But anyway, fuck it. Arsene Wenger at the tail end, let's say, of his career, being given 900 million to deal with the seasons that Arteta has dealt with, do you think that he would have done better? Yeah, I fucking think he would have done better. Of course I think he would have done better. And yes, I also agree with this. Emery would have won a league title with that money. And the thing is, like, or Emery would have won at least more cups with that money, or at least like a European title, would have won Europa League or something like that. Essentially, the honours haul would have been more. And do you know what? I'm going to pull something up, actually. Just bear me 1 second, because this is pissing me off. So what my problem is with what these top gunners don't seem to understand is, like, the more we go without winning trophies, the more we're not going to win trophies. So what I mean by this is, if I look at the English honours, English Football Club honours, because we're getting caught up. This is my point. List. Just bear me 1 second. For some reason, it's always very difficult to get these things going. So basically, yeah. So okay, let me share this. Oh, fuck off! All these adverts just keep popping up. Blah blah blah. Adverts. Okay, so let me just share the screen. Where do we go to? Let me just move this into a new window. Move this to a new window. That's going to be easy. Easiest. Anyway, my point is that they're catching us up because we're doting away. We're being docile and not winning enough. Here we go. Come on. Oh, share the screen, you bitch. Oh, yeah, I need to add it. Stream is stupid like this. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. So basically, so you can see here the Premier League and FA Cup, League Cup, blah, blah, blah. So my point being, look at this, right? Already you can see Arsenal 13 Premier Leagues, Man City on 10. Look at this, Man City on 10 here. 3 Premier Leagues behind us. Chelsea still a little bit behind us, but obviously, look, they are ahead of us on Champions League, ahead of us on Europa League, one more Cup Winners' Cup. But look, overall, look at this. Arsenal are on 30, yeah? Man City are on 27. Chelsea are on 25. If we continue in this kind of like average, oh, well, we're okay, we're just happy to challenge level, how long is it going to be before Chelsea overtake us in terms of total trophies, whether it be from League Cups and FA Cups? I just want to be clear on this. When it comes to this table and these totals, I don't care if it's a Champions League or an FA Cup. This is the total trophy haul of English clubs. And what this means is how big English clubs are. I don't really care about the fan base. I care about how many cumulative aggregated trophies that we have won. Cumulative aggregated trophies won. We are third in the country, which we should be mad proud of, and we should be trying to make better. But we don't seem to be. And we're actually 14 behind Man United. But we're only 3 ahead of Man City. Man City are 3 behind us. So they just need to get... If Man City win an FA Cup in the league, if they do a double, if they win the Premier League and win an FA Cup or a League Cup, they're 29. They're one behind us. Man City at the moment are 3 behind us. Chelsea are 5 behind us. What top gunners who love this process and don't really mind because, as long as we're challenging, that's fine. They don't really understand that if this keeps going on, City, Chelsea, they can overtake us. And suddenly, within 5 years, by like 2030, 2031, Arsenal could be down underneath Man City and Chelsea. This is what annoys me, man. So yeah, this is what totally annoys me, because we don't really understand. A lot of fans don't really tend to understand like how close we are to being overtaken by the other teams, and then we kind of like lose what we have to sort of like gloat about. Do you know what I mean? We lose our bragging rights, and it's kind of like, well, why do you want to lose your bragging rights? Just for the sake of being like, oh well, okay, yeah, well, we're just challenging, we're just going to do like blah blah blah. Fuck it, man. Honestly, it just pisses me off, man. It just pisses me off because people just nowadays seem to be just way too happy with mediocrity. Way too happy with mediocrity. And it just kind of irritates me, because why would you want to remain mediocre? Why would you want to remain without trophies? Why would you want to just be somebody who celebrates just kind of like, oh, we're just challenging, and that's all that matters? It's just a weird concept to me. I just don't understand this concept of, oh well, we're just challenging. So what makes you happy then? Does just challenging make you happy? Because what I'll tell you is, I mean, yeah, the moment we become the fourth biggest club, maybe then people would. Yeah, do you know what? I said something similar the other day to a friend of mine. It's a good. You made a good point there. I made a similar point the other day. I was talking to a friend of mine who's an Arsenal fan as well, and I was saying, like, does it really take us to drop down? Like, because look at this table. You can see this table. They ain't far behind us. Like, that's 3 trophies. We're on 30 trophies. Man City are on 27. Chelsea on 25. That didn't need to be that close. That gap has been closed over 20 years of us not winning anything. That gap shouldn't be like that. That gap arguably should be, we should be on like 37, 38, and they should be trying to catch us more still. But since we moved from the Emirates, what I will say, like, AJ, you're a bit too young. So you're 25, right? So 25, let me do a quick bit of maths. So 25, so 20 years ago is obviously 2005, and you were 5. So 20 years ago when you were 5, forgive me if I'm repeating myself because I don't remember what I've said in terms of like everything that we've talked about. But 2004, actually, I was in the 12 Pins pub, showing my age a little bit, at Finsbury Park, and we were celebrating the Invincibles. So if you'd have come up to us at that time and said, okay, boys, because I was with my friend Pete, and big up Pete, and I was like with loads of other people. We were just, loads of people. If you'd have come up to us and said at that time, okay, enjoy this, boys, enjoy the next few nights, enjoy the next few months, because you guys ain't ever going to win a title again for at least another 20 years. It's going to be 2025 at least before you win a title. You ain't going to win a title then. We just laughed at you, because at that time in 2004, when we went invincible, we thought we were going to be conquering the world. We thought we were on the verge of conquering the world, winning the European Champions League, winning more titles. And then the club came out and said that we were moving from Highbury to the Emirates to do that, to win the Champions League. Sorry, to win the Champions League, to win more titles. They were telling us that, they were feeding us that, and we were just under the impression that, oh God, this is just going to be so amazing. You have to understand that when we were celebrating after the Invincibles, when we were celebrating that, we were being told that we were going to get more of that. We were being told we were going to win more titles. We were then going to win the Champions League. We were going to move to the Emirates, and this is going to solidify everything. We'd get more good players. We're going to get even better players. We'd get more world-class players. We're going to be a world-class team. And look what happened. This is why we're all kind of salty. This is why someone like me, or like Lee's age, or Shane's age, we're a bit salty, because like we were sold a lie essentially back then, because we were told we were moving to the Emirates to win the Champions League, to win more titles. They literally told us that. And look what happened. Nothing. 3 FA Cups, 4 FA Cups. Oh, Jesus, is that right? Oh, my God. Yeah, and I think that, like, yeah, that does suck. But like, yeah, Arsenal ladies, there was never that much competition, was there? We didn't have as much the Arsenal ladies didn't have much competition. I can't necessarily say that I'm massively into the ladies game, to be honest with you. Many people have tried to get me into the ladies game. I'm not trying to diss the ladies. Big up to the ladies, and big up to the champions of the Arsenal champions. But yeah, it's not really been my thing. Not really being my thing. That's just me, though. I'm not trying to knock it. And if you want to enjoy it, enjoy it. I don't care. Come on. Like, I'm an open-minded person. I don't care what you want to enjoy, as long as it's not like, too weird. But I do get concerned about this fucking thing, because what a lot of these fans don't realize as well is the longer we go, I think I mentioned this before. Sorry if I'm repeating myself, but sometimes when you're doing an hour stream, you forget what you said. But like, it does concern me that if we continue to go without trophies, we're less attractive as a club to stay with, to come to. Saliba, Saka, you think they're going to stay forever? These fans seem to think they're just going to stay forever because Mikel Arteta's here. And this is the thing. You go watch the ladies. I actually love going to watch the Arsenal ladies play. We're going to more games this season. Do you know what? Actually, what I will say about the ladies is the actual games, I will be honest with you, the actual games that I've watched, I think are a bit too slow for me. But like, also, that's even not just a sort of lady thing, like feminine, male feminine thing. It's like, I don't even like watching Championship, League One, League Two. I will only watch the Premier League and La Liga because I support Real Betis in La Liga, so I'll watch them. So I have watched Mascara a couple of times, who's coming in from Valencia. He's okay. And Valencia have actually like Herreto, what's his name? Who's the other centre back? I think it's Herreto or something like that. Valencia actually have good centre backs, and I think Mascara actually is going to be a good signing. I think most people don't really know about him. I do remember him playing against Betis, and like, yeah, we didn't really have a good game against him. So he was quite good. He's quite a decent defender. I think for like 12 million that we got him for, I think that's a good deal. But I can't profess to be mad, knowledgeable about him. But I've seen him play against Betis twice last season, and yeah, we struggled. We struggled against Valencia last season. I would recommend, like, look, I mean, I don't know, AJ. I know, AJ, you've got your reasons that you can't get sort of like maybe out and about and stuff. But if you can get to Seville, wonderful city, man, wonderful city. I need to get back there with my friend. I haven't been there since like 5-6 years. Real Betis is a really nice second club to have because they've got the 60,000 fans in that stadium, and they're all crazy. And it's a carnival atmosphere, and you go there and it's all kind of like everyone's loving it, everyone's into it, everyone's got the vibe and the energy, but it's not like everyone's kind of pissed. They don't serve alcohol and in the ground it's alcohol free, but outside the ground you do whatever you want, so you get everything sorted before you go in. And yeah, Betis is just, yeah, it's a great kind of little outlet. It's a different kind of experience. It's a very different experience to going to the Emirates or going to anything like that. It's just a carnival atmosphere. I don't know anyway why I sort of like went off on that tangent. Anyway, forget that tangent. Yes, what we were saying. I definitely want to travel in the next 18 months or so. So yeah, okay, so I'm gonna just quickly go to the bathroom, have a little think. Let me know, where do you want to travel to? What's your sort of main places that you want to go to? Let me know your main places that you want to go to. I'll be back in 1 second. We can talk about that. I would recommend Seville, and if you're up for it, come with me to a Betis game. I'll be perfectly happy to go to a Betis game with you. But let me know what your thoughts were on where do you want to travel to, because there's just so many places. Where do you pick? Do you go to Egypt? Do you see the pyramids? Do you see all that craziness? Do you go to South America? Do you go to Australia because it's like upside down world, massive spiders though, to be fair? Do you go to like South Africa? Do you go to America? Where do you go? Let me know where you want to go. I'll be back in like one. Yo, let's get this off the screen. Let's get this off the screen. Streamer makes it very difficult to remove things. There we go. How? Get me back on the screen. Oh, for God's sake. Why is it so difficult? Hang on 1 second. This thing is being weird. Why is it not putting me on the screen properly? Put me on the screen properly, you idiot. Why am I not being added to the stage? Why is this putting me small on the stage? This is very interesting. Oh, no, hang on. There we go. Fuck me. Jesus Christ. Why was that so difficult to do? Anyway, sorry. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I want to go to Japan. I am. Oh my gosh, I mean too. Japan. Yeah. So for me, I agree. I would like to go to. My plan with Japan, if I could, if money was permitting, would be to go to Kyoto or be obviously to go to Tokyo. I would like to spend a few months there. Being a big Blade Runner fan, I would like to go to Kyoto because it's quite Blade Runner-esque. I would like to go to somewhere that has that kind of like neon light built up kind of feel to it. I know that people don't see that as a very sort of beautiful thing, but I kind of like feel that kind of like metropolis. There's a beauty in the metropolis, and I think that Japan does that beauty very well. Plus, also Japan kind of like has like it's quite advanced, really. It's quite a sort of futuristic, like relatively futuristic place. But also at the same time, you've got the opposite of that. You've got the places like Kyoto. You've got the places like the big forests, which are the opposite of developed. The sort of like retro and like historic places that you can go to. So it's a fantastic country if you can do a proper tour around it. America wise, I don't know where to start. Where would you start in America though? Where would you start? Like if you're going to go to America, where would you go? Because like it's difficult because like which state would you where would you choose? Which state would you choose? Seville is an easy answer for me. I'll always be up Seville. I love Real Betis. I actually genuinely do love Real Betis. It's such an amazing club. They're so crazy, pleasantly crazy, the fans. Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, like, I don't know what I would do if I went to America. It's just so many places to choose from. I would probably go to the South. Not that I'm kind of like aligned politically with the people in the South, but I'm kind of a sucker for a Southern accent. And I know a couple of people who live in the South as well, so it might be a bit easier for me to stay over there. That said, it's just so difficult to pick somewhere because it's like there's so many places to go to. Like it's not like going to Britain. You kind of like go to, okay, well we'll go to London. Okay, we might head up to the Yorkshire Dales and see that. It's not as easy as that. It's kind of like there's so many different places. It's an incredible landmass. So where do you go to? Where do you go to? Yeah. What I was going to do is kind of have a little. So I can forget that. Forget that. What was the what I was going to ask you, AJ? Actually, sorry, was I might have asked you this before. Sorry if I've asked you this before. What was the first thing that made you support Arsenal? I will say mine. I can't remember if we've done this before, so apologies if we've done this before. But I'm curious to know because maybe I've forgotten. How did you first start supporting Arsenal? Was it a family thing? Is there a first Arsenal memory that you're kind of like au fait with, or was it some kind of happy accident? Like, how did it happen? Because mine is weird. Mine is kind of weird. What I'm going to do in the meantime is I'm going to get Twitter up because there's a lot of weird shit that's going on Twitter. Let's have a look at these Twitter meetings whilst you answer that. Because I'm interested to know your answer. I need to get this onto a new window. So it makes it easier to share. What's love got to do with it? Blah, blah, blah. Here we go. Share screen gets very irritating. Okay, someone's trying to have a go at me probably here. What's this about? Don't take my habits away. Why do you like mid-level players? This is Arsenal, not Fulham. So, Rob, you're telling me Germany started Champions League winner, scoring the winning final as a mid-player? Yes. I mean, have you even achieved? What was it for? How do you know? What's? Well, no, but why do I need to do that? This is the stupidity that you have to deal with, isn't it? How do you know? Like, because I have eyes. I have eyes. I have eyes. I watch Arsenal every week. He's not good enough. I don't really care about this. He's not good enough. Please clarify how he has justified his ridiculously high wage at Arsenal. Please, yeah, fuck it, let's just do that. So these people are just idiots. Anyway, what's this guy saying? Oh yeah, I was just taking the piss out of that stupid bitch. Yeah, no, I would if I was fucking what's the name, Sydney, whatever, I would maximize my tits as well. Nothing else there. Anyway, what were we saying? My story. So, hey, here we go. My story is a simple one. My older cousin is an Arsenal fan. We was watching the game with stuff. So okay. So when was that? What was the game when the Kings destroyed the statue goal? What game was that? Sorry, what year was that? I'll tell you what. I'll show you something. I don't think I've showed you this before. This is fucking funny, man. I'm actually on. All right, anyway, let me just find this. Oh, do you know I can just hold the. So hang on. This is quite funny. Let's upload it. How do I upload this image? How do I upload this image? So basically, I don't know if you remember. Let me just get rid of this. Let me just get rid of this for a sec. So I used to go and watch Sheffield Wednesday regularly because my grandparents are Sheffield Wednesday fans. My dad's side of the family are Sheffield Wednesday fans. I was at the Sheffield Wednesday Arsenal game where Paolo Di Canio pushed over the ref, and then like Nigel Winterburn got involved and all this kind of stuff. I don't know if you remember that. It's one of the most iconic, weird football moments ever. I do have the picture of me. Can you spot me? Let me hang on. Let me get this. Let me see if I can. Let me see. Can I share this? It'd be hilarious if I can share this. 1 second. I must be able to share the screen here, surely. So this is Sheffield Wednesday Arsenal in 1996-ish. Can I share this? Yes, I can. Oh, look. What's this? Who's this here? So Paolo Di Canio here pushes over the referee. This is like 1997. Sheffield Wednesday v Arsenal. Look who's over here. Look who's over here. Look who's this prick over here in his beige and slightly creamy jumper. Terrible thing. Very, very snazzy. Look at me there. Fucking straight at him, man. Paolo Di Canio. Okay, so let me see if I can find the video of this. Let me see if I find the video. This is funny. The video is funny. This is from. So okay, like hang on. Di Canio ref push. I don't know if you know about this. Hey, do you know about? Yo, you're still there because that completely fucked up. I don't know what the fuck happened there. I don't know what the fuck happened there. I think everything's okay now anyway. So gladly this still remained. That was so strange. I don't know how it did. Anyway, fuck it. So let me just bring back this. So here we go. This is a bit of Arsenal folklore. If you haven't seen this, this is great stuff. This is great stuff. So basically, we're playing Sheffield Wednesday. Paulo Di Canio does a horrible foul. He was right in front of me. He does a horrible foul. It was a terrible foul. He deserves to get sent off. And then this happens. Could I? Yeah, I can full screen it a bit better. But so Di Canio gets. The referee takes a dive. That was right in front of me. He doesn't need to fall over there. Come on. And then look at him. Right. Nigel Winterman's scared shitless. It's one of the most iconic moments in Premier League history. I was right there, as you could see. I was right there next to it. And it was kind of funny. It was kind of weird. It was kind of a surreal, when those things happen, it's kind of like a surreal moment where you just don't really understand how to react to it. You don't really understand how to interpret the reality. It's one of those things where it's just kind of like, okay, this reality is happening. It's kind of like strange. Very, very strange. Yeah, cheers. I don't know what happened then. I don't know if did I disappear for a second? Somehow my window, I got rid of the window. I don't know how. I don't know. Fuck it. I don't know what happened. Anyway, but yeah, I'm still trying to figure out. So, stories number one: older cousin is also found was a game where the king destroys first for the tide to erase history. One of my favorite. You know what? Let's put it on. Let's put it on. One of my favorite Arsenal Tottenham games. I think I can play it if I mute it. So one of my favorite ones is we'll do a little bit of reminiscing. This is when Emery was the manager. Arsenal 4, Spurs 2. I don't know if you remember this. What really irritated me about this game? What really irritated me about this game? Why are you being annoying and not letting me do this? Okay, I need to be a specific. Arsenal 4, Spurs 2. Emery's best game, basically. Why is it so? It's amazing how it's so difficult to find things these days. That's not what I wanted. I don't know because I'm used to watching a certain channel's highlights about this, but it seems to have gone. Okay, hang on. Let me just retype this into the bar. It might make it better. Arsenal or Tottenham 2. Arsenal 4, Tottenham 2, basically. Yeah, I think this is the one. Yeah, this is the one I was looking for. Was it this one? Because some of the which they cut the highlights really fine. Okay, let's have a look at this one. I hope it's this. I hope this works. I'm going to check it. Sorry, just 1 second. I'm going to check it because I don't want to be like, I'm pissed off with all this nonsense. Fuck off. Jesus Christ. Okay, no, it's not this one. This one is just nonsense. It needs to be the proper Sky Sports highlights. Maybe it's this one. I think it's this one. I think it's just. Yeah, okay, yeah, I think it's this. So let's have a look at this. This is 4 minutes long. Sorry for the little wait. Let's put this in a new window. It's worth watching. It's worth watching again. The thing is, this is worth watching again because they haven't won anything. This is the problem. This is the problem. We haven't won anything, and so we end up not worshipping, but kind of like enjoying these things. So hang on, let me just get this onto the screen. Blah 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 blah. I hope this is the good highlights because there's some good highlights and there's a lot of bad highlights. I can't play the volume, otherwise it will get copyright stricken. So I'll just have to play it mute. But you know it. I think this is the one. Can I make this bigger? There we go. Yeah, you remember that 4-2, yeah? So, yeah. Suddenly we got the handball and it was kind of like, fucking hell, what's going on? It was a handball, though, to be fair. This is one of my favourite Arsenal games of, I guess, recent memory. I mean, I say recent memory, it's been bloody a long time. And then obviously we bang the first goal. I remember watching this pub. I was with my ex at the time, who was an Arsenal fan as well. And we just sat there, she's just, and we're just watching the game and blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, so we'll get to it in a second because Tottenham were 2-1 up at half time, if you remember. Come on, let's go. Because you remember, like, Tottenham were 2-1 up at half time because of this, for a start. Do I have to get done by copyright if I play this? Am I going to get done by... Oh, I don't think... If I put that on, can you hear it? Can you hear that? AJ, can you tell me if you hear that? I'm just interested if you can. I'll mute it again now before I go copyright. And then I remember, like, they got a penalty and then it was, Rob Holding doing a stupidity. Why did he do that? Why would you do that? Why did you dive in like that? And then we had Kolasinac as well. It's crazy. And Mustafi. How do we even manage to pull this off? And then Kane was taking the penalty. So we were fucked. Yeah, I'll have to keep the mute off because I don't want to get, as much as I want the mute on, I'm going to get copyright. Scratch your chin in my Emery. 2 minutes more and then we'll chat again. And then, oof, I remember that. I remember me and her going mental. Just jumping up and down and we were all going fucking mental. This was at the... What do they call it? It was in Bounds Green, the pub in Bounds Green. It was the, I forget the name of it now. I'm completely retarded. What's the name? The Springfield, sorry. Fucking hell, the Springfield, which is technically a Tottenham pub as well. But it wasn't full of Tottenham fans. It was mainly full of Arsenal fans. It was full of one Tottenham fan. What pissed me off was there was a bunch of Arsenal fans who bunched up on a Tottenham fan. This Tottenham fan was like 5'6" or whatever. And a bunch of Arsenal fans, such a great goal. The bunch of Arsenal fans just ganged up on him. And I was like, fuck off, guys, man. What are you doing? Yeah, so what is this, a Tottenham fan? You're all 6 foot. This guy's 5'6", and you're all kind of bunching up and pushing him. They pushed him down the stairs, the dickheads. I was like, fuck off. Well, why didn't you push me down the stairs? Try and push me down the stairs, you dickheads. Yeah, all right. They won't do it. So, yeah, okay, bye. Fucking annoys me when people pick on people who aren't their own sides. I don't care if he's a Tottenham fan. I don't care. It's annoying. And then Lucas Torreira. And there we go. Boom. So, yeah. What was your foot? Did you, AJ, have you got to go to watch Arsenal? Did you get to go to watch Arsenal at Highbury? Have you been to the Emirates? Because I got to Highbury. I saw actually Fabregas's debut when he was in a mad mullet. He was like 16 years old and he had a mullet. I saw that, and I saw 2 other League Cup games, and I saw another Champions League game. I never saw a Premier League game at Highbury. And then I saw about 3 I saw about 3 Premier League games at the Emirates. I took the aforementioned girlfriend to Tottenham when we went 2-0 down against Tottenham, and it was like Lacazette pulled us back to 2-1. It was like 2-2 in the end, and then we could have won 3-2 if it wasn't for Xhaka, who I think fouled someone in the build-up to the goal, to the third goal. And it was just when VAR came in, and it was kind of like you didn't know how to react to VAR. It was kind of like you didn't have like you hadn't quite cultivated your way to react to VAR in a stadium yet. So I think what I used to do is quite different to what I do now. Is like what I used to do is pause, and now what I do is I just celebrate. So I celebrate, and then if VAR brings it back, it brings it back. But before, what I was doing is I was cautioning it and pausing and being kind of like cautious about it. No, I think just celebrate, man, because there's no real way around it, because VAR is just VAR, and it's kind of like the way it works. It's very difficult to kind of like navigate like how you're gonna, because sometimes it's going to be wrong, sometimes it's going to be right. So you might as well just celebrate as if it's right, and then if it gets dragged back, it gets dragged back. Who cares? Funny story, first ever game I went to the Emirates West Ham during the season when we lost 2-0. When was that? I seem to remember that. What year was that? I seem to remember that. I seem to remember the first game of the Emirates ever. We lost 1-0 to Aston Villa. And then they changed the score. They changed the scoreboard. They changed the scoreboard as it was kind of like, oh, okay, well, we can't do that. We can't have Arsenal losing on their fucking first game. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't in the Premier League, obviously. Bear with me. I just need to shut the window. 1 sec. So that 14-15. 14 to 15, yes. You would have been 15 about then, wouldn't it? 14 to 15. Yeah, this was the kind of like middle of the road seasons where it was kind of like, what's happening now with the team? So what you have to kind of understand is kind of like, I was 21 when we won the title, the last. And like I said a bit earlier in the stream, it was kind of like, oh, we thought we were going to win everything, blah, blah, blah. So if you can imagine moving that on 10 years to 14, 15, like you're saying, you've wandered into this kind of no man's land where it's like, well, what's happening? Like 10 years ago, we were winning the title, and okay, we've muddled on for a bit. We moved to the Emirates, and you're giving us all this stuff about, oh, we'll move to the Emirates, we have little money and blah, 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 which wasn't particularly true, by the way. We've got to 14, 15, 16, and it's kind of like, that was around the time where everyone was really questioning, look, what's happening? What is going on now? The last time we won the league was 10 years ago. So what is going on now? And this was like the years 2013, 2014, 2015 were really years where it was kind of seminal in terms of like people thinking about like, what are they doing? Are we going this way? Are we going that way? And this kind of stuff. I think those were years. I think those were the years where Wenger should have gone. Wenger went later than he should. Well, to be fair, like you could argue that Wenger should have gone after the 8-2 when we had that 8-2 against Man United. But he had the credit in the bank and it stayed. But 2013, 2014, he could have gone. He could have easily gone then. you do wonder how, the reality pathway would have manifested differently, because it's kind of like what we've got to now is we've cultivated this sort of like ethos of, well, everything's okay in terms of as long as we're challenging, right? We got the top four trophy, we're challenging, everything's okay because of that. And it seems to have been a bit of a misnomer. It seems to have been a bit of a just a wrong thing to do, basically. um yeah, you just turned 16. God. Yes, I was 21 at 2004. So I was blessed to come down to London in 2003. 2003. Yeah, I come down to London 2003 September as a 19, 20-year-old. And I had a few games at Highbury, night games, Champions League games. I never saw a Premier League game, but like I say, I saw a few, because they used to charge £10 for the East Stand for what was at the time, I think, It was called the Worthington Cup, the Coca-Cola Cup, League Cup, essentially Carabao Cup sort of thing. So I went to a lot of them. Saw Cesc Fabregas, saw the penalty shootout, which went to like 15-14. We started a Pascal Sagan chant, which got Pascal Sagan to come over to the stand. He was kind of like, what's going on? Sagan was a bit of a weird pseudo cult figure, let's say. If you know anything about Pascal Sagan, you know that he would definitely be a pseudo cult figure. He wasn't the best, He wasn't the best, let's put it like that. So, yeah, I mean, fortunate enough to get down to London to experience like proper London Arsenal stuff. Because for me, do you know what? I remember saying to my friend Pete, at the time when we moved from the Emirates, I think I mentioned this before, but anyway, I'll go over it again quickly. I remember saying to him that I just didn't feel right about it. And that's not sort of like kind of like some wishy washy thing or whatever. It just didn't feel right. It didn't feel right in the sense that it wasn't being done for the right reasons. And it kind of was like, well, are we doing this for the right reasons? Are we going to win the league? And we didn't win the league. And we didn't win the Champions League. They were doing it for expensive reasons of finances. I get that. But it just did not feel right as a fan. And I suppose it's easy to say that in retrospect, isn't it? It's easy to kind of like blame it in retrospect. And I'm not trying to sort of like blame past failures. I'm somebody who likes to take accountability for things, but it's not really my thing to take accountability with in terms of this specifically. So, yeah, I mean, Arsenal used to have a bit more of a stranglehold over North London and London in general. And what's happened in recent years is we've seen Chelsea come along. This is the fucking problem, man. We've seen Chelsea come along, and we've seen Chelsea try to take over. And Chelsea are too close to taking over. I mean, like, Chelsea have had like 2 Champions League wins. And when man talk about them on Twitter and they take the piss, when I see Arsenal fans taking the piss out of Chelsea fans on Twitter, I'm like, how are you pulling rank? How are you pulling rank over Chelsea? They've won 2 fucking Champions Leagues. How many have we won? Oh, no, none. We've won 1 Cup Winners' Cup. 1 Cup Winners' Cup, that's it. So how are we trying to pull rank against Chelsea? Look, I'm not trying to be defeatist. You know me. I'm not a defeatist person at all. I'm a person who thinks Arsenal's superior over everyone. I'll try to be Arsenal superior over everyone. But if you're going to try to chat to me about like Chelsea or like better in Europe, or Chelsea have got 2 Champions Leagues, 2, not just 1. It was bad enough. Do you know how fucking shit I felt when Chelsea won their first Champions League? The only reason I didn't fucking feel worse was because one of my best friends at the time, my friend Ash, big up Ash, he now lives in South Spain. Big up Ash. My friend Ash is a massive Chelsea fan. I was with him watching the final when Chelsea won the Champions League for the first time, not the second time. And I hated the fact that they won the Champions League because it's Chelsea, isn't it? We're Arsenal, it's Chelsea, they won the Champions League. But because it was him and because he'd been going through so much personally at the time, I was like, lovely, I'll give it to him. Like, let him have it. And he was what we were walking up the street of Stoke Newington. He was crying. He was overjoyed. I loved it for him. I was so happy for him. The football rivalry went out the window at that time. This is a guy who'd been going through a lot in his personal life. And despite the fact that, yes, it's Chelsea getting the first Champions League over my team, Arsenal, I was happy for him. And I was happy, and we had a great night after that. Blah, blah, blah. Then they went and get a second, the little motherfuckers, and we still not got. He went off to Spain, by the way, so he fucked off. And we still not got even one. Now, these guys want to talk to us about, oh, well, you know, Chelsea's a small club. Chelsea, to some degree, is a small club. But how can you argue with the fact they have won the Champions League twice? Doesn't that piss you off? AJ, doesn't that piss you off, man? Seriously, doesn't that piss you off that Chelsea won the Champions League twice? Bloody hell, don't even say that. You don't even say that. Don't even say that. You lovely bastard. Yes, that would be horrible if Spurs actually won the Champions League. I don't know where you were when they were playing Liverpool. I was watching it in Stoke Newington with a couple of friends, just praying. Just please don't win. Please don't win the Champions League. Like, I don't know what I would have done. We would have just had year upon year of banter after. We are so lucky they weren't in the Champions League. Oh my God. It was an amazing experience for them not to win the Champions League. I do not care who they were playing. They could have been playing Man United. I don't care. Yeah, if Spurs had won the Champions League, wow. Yeah, it would have been an extremely difficult period. I might have quit football. Yeah. Okay, let's say, what are we on? We were on 1 hour 43. I've been enjoying this stream. This has been lovely stuff. And the main reason it's been lovely stuff because AJ is here, because AJ is so sound to talk to. I love talking to AJ. It's fucking sick, man. How long can you do, man? Shall we do to I'm at 4. It's 4:08 now. How long can you do? Can you do? I can do like maybe another half an hour or whatever. Let me know. An hour? I could do another hour if you want. Probably not much more than an hour. I could do another hour though, if you want. Five, like, is it like you're the same time frame as me? Well, our time is the same time, isn't it? So you're in the UK. So I'm 4:08 at the moment. So we'll do till, yeah. So we'll do another hour. So we'll do it till 2:45. Perfect. Lovely. I love it. Cool, man. I like that. Yeah, that's a good timing. That's a good bit of timing because it's going to be light is going to come out as well. I'm just going to open the curtains. Oh, no, fuck it. Fuck open the curtains. Yeah, you're in East London. What are you in Shoreditch or something? Or I do like East London. Yeah, I'm near Wood Green. I'm near Turnpike Lane. Yeah, we'll do another hour easy. I mean, we can talk for another hour, fucking hour, easily enough. Yeah, one of my favorite. Yeah, I'm in one. Yeah, I know Wanstead. I've not been to Wanstead. Let me have a look at. Let me have a look at the map. Wanstead. I haven't really been to Wanstead. Well, I haven't been to Wanstead. So it's more like Redbridge. Okay, so you're quite east, though. You're quite east. Okay, that's fine. So, like, what I like about East London, I was more like Old Street. One of my favorite memories of this year is coming out of a club. You know, forgive me if I've probably repeated this memory to you, because maybe we've had this sort of same conversation prior. One of my favorite memories of this year is March the 5th. I came out of XOYO in Old Street in North East London, and it was very, very foggy. It was kind of like Blade Runner foggy. It had this kind of like, you look up at the sort of sky, and it's kind of like the fog was coming down. It was kind of like settling down. And it's been like, when you come out of a club at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., and all that kind of stuff, it's quite nice because it gives you that juxtaposition of like, you've been in the club, it's loud, it's the lasers are going, the music, especially when you're into drum and bass as well, it's just a loud, intensive music. And then you come out and it's like, it's silent. I know a place, especially like Old Street, which is the usual hustle and bustling, loads of people, hustle, bustle, ignorance of the usual central London people, it's completely empty. And actually, some guy that I was talking to come out with me, and he eventually ended up showing me how to get to the bus station. The bus station was very, very difficult to find. As soon as I got to the bus station, I got on the bus, and honestly, the whole kind of like fog enveloped the bus. And I was kind of like on my phone for like 5 minutes, and suddenly the announcer goes, Turnpike Lane Station next. So I seem to have got from Old Street to Turnpike Lane Station in about 10 minutes. It was very, very crazy. It's one of my favorite memories of this year. It probably is my favorite memory this year. It's just, I have this kind of like I have a kind of like propensity to, I like the sort of like cinematic elements of life. And I just like the fact that I came out of the club and it was so grey, and the mist, and you look up at the skyscrapers and everything was so misty, and it was like dropping down, and it was just beautiful, man. It was just it was one of the most it was one of the ways that a city can manifest beauty, because the city can't manifest beauty that much when there's a city manifests beauty best when it's minus people. So a city manifests beauty best when there's nobody around. And when you're somebody who goes to these kind of like late club nights, you come out from the club and it's like there's no one around. When there's usually hundreds and maybe thousands of people milling around like ants, blah, blah, blah. And then you come out, there's nobody there. And the mist is descending, especially if it's like February or March. It was just like, sorry, I'm waffling along about this, but it's like, it's my favorite, one of my favorite memories of this year. Nah, man, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. We can just like chill. We should just do our own channel and just chill, to be honest with you. And then people can just join us. But like, yeah, I'm just messing. But like, yeah, so I mean, they could. No, I appreciate it. But yeah, I haven't been to Wanstead. So Wanstead is actually very close to Redbridge. I know a good one of my good friends is, because Wanstead is what? So Redbridge is more like Essex. Is it kind of like quite Essex way sort of thing? I've definitely heard of Wanstead anyway. I've heard of a lot of places in London. I just haven't fucking investigated them, which annoys me sometimes. I'm gonna upload a track, by the way. So I want to try and see what this sounds like on here. I'm not gonna play it yet. I'll play it later when I go to the toilet, sort of thing. It's just a 4-minute track. I'll play it later when I get to the toilet, just a sort of like interlude. I want to try and upload it. It's been a bit annoying. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's going to let me do it. Okay, anyway. That's cool. Why is it doing this? This is so. Everything has to be so kind of like fraught with idiosyncratic annoyances. Oh, brilliant. Okay, it's done it. That's fine. Well, yeah, my job at the moment is okay. I mean, it's kind of like, so my 9 to 5 is, yeah, working in the NHS and sort of managing a bunch of admin girls, basically. I say girls, but they're kind of like 55, 60. Girls is probably the wrong word. There's one is like 30, and then everyone else is like of age, as they say. But that's okay. And then it kind of like allows me to have the sort of mental. I'm quite sort of on top of the job. It sort of allows me to have the mental capacity to then come home, and then after I've gone to the gym, I'll have like a good like 3 or 4 hours on working on music. I've been working on an EP at the moment. A tune I've just uploaded to this. So next time I go to the toilet, I'll just whack the tune on whilst I'm gone, if that's okay. And yeah, if you want to listen to it, if you want to go toilet or whatever, it's fine. But if you want to listen to it and kind of like tell me if you what will you do, what would you do different, that'd be cool. But anyway, yeah. So my ultimate goal is to kind of like turn these side hustles, like my music and like doing drum and bass and DJing and all this kind of stuff, which I'm not getting paid for. I'm good at, but I'm not getting paid for. Turn them into full-time work. So yeah, that's kind of where I am at the moment. Although the last week I've had off, basically, funnily enough, ironically enough, the last week I just had off, and I would like to try to. I think if I could make a bit more effort into the YouTube, presentation thing, like have a bit of a better presentation, have a bit of a better background. The thing is, I quite like what Lee does. Lee doesn't have any background. He doesn't have any kind of like proper presentation. He just goes live and talks. That's kind of how I would like to do it. I would like to just sort of like be able to kind of like have the propensity to just kind of like go live and then, oh, we're live, and then boom, lots of people would join and we talk. How are the dreams at the moment? The dreams, do you know what? Dreams have been okay. I haven't really had a lucid. Have you, like, let me know if you had a lucid one recently. Have you? I haven't. The last lucid one, I have had a lucid one recently. I'm just trying to remember it. I have had one. It's a bit difficult to remember sometimes. Bear with me. It was just kind of weird in terms of like, not weird, but well, they're always weird, aren't they? But like the last lucid dream I had, I think was just kind of like, I don't know if I talked to you about. Were you here when I was talking to my friend James about? It was when I was in my old house which I grew up in, and there was like a big we had like a staircase that went down. We were kind of like quite flagrantly middle class. We had a staircase that went down. As the staircase went down, you had like a big window here, and then when you looked out the window, you could look across the moor. And then when you looked across the moor, you could see like the stars and everything. So the dream basically was like me walking down the stairs, looking out the window up at the stars, and the stars had kind of like these tornadoes, and these tornadoes were like crystallized to some degree, is best I can explain. And then as I got closer to them, they sort of started expanding up, and they were expanding up into the sky. So I was looking up at them, and I was looking up at the tornadoes that were crystallized, and the crystals were kind of like falling and falling down, and everything was kind of like coming together. And then I remember kind of like coming down to one point, which was kind of like a field, and then like the field was kind of like purple on either side. I remember feeling at the time, whoa, this is a bit weird. And this is kind of what I feel like all the time when I'm in one of these lucid dreams. I don't really have any kind of like massive insights. I'm just like, this is a bit of a strange experience, which shouldn't be a strange experience because I have this a lot. Anyway, so I had that. It was a feeling of lucidity and being awake. ish, but still asleep. You know what lucid dreaming is like. You're awake, but you're asleep. And then yeah, they all started turning into shooting stars above me. So these like crystallized tornadoes started turning into like shooting stars, and it was just like it was like I was looking up. I was just like looking up, and it was like shooting stars, shooting stars, shooting stars, and everything, all these kinds. It's very difficult to explain, and as I'm sure you're aware, it's like, I mean, try to explain your lucid dreams to someone is quite hard, isn't it? You could explain them to me and I'll understand them. That's fine because I'm different. But try to explain them to someone else, it's going to be difficult for them to understand. And it's kind of like just and again and again and again. And it's like I've had quite a few of those dreams where you're just sort of like there's a lot of things going on up there. But anyway, that was kind of like my recent experience. So sorry if that was a little bit of a too intense explanation. I went a bit too deep into the explanation there. Like, how about you, man? How about you? What's been your recent? Have you had lucid dreams? I mean, I genuinely enjoy talking about lucid dreams. I genuinely enjoy to hear about what you've had recently. What's been going on? Yeah, man. Describe as best you can, if you want to. No pressure. If you don't want to, but it's fine. But yeah, loved it. Chat about it. I love talking about this stuff. So yeah, just if you want, chat about it. Yeah. That's hilarious. So it wasn't that macabre. It was like it's quite specific. It's quite usual in a way. Is this normal for you? Do you normally have lucid? Because that's like quite normal. I'm not trying to like, but that's quite a normal situation, if you know what I mean. My lucid dreams tend to be stuff that I can't even explain. So, but that's rooted in almost like 3D reality. I'm not trying to knock it. I'm just saying it's interesting. And then what happened? What happened after that? Anyway, that's only half the story. Is what happened after that? I'm curious. Is it interesting? Always interesting talking to you, AJ. You're always an interesting person to talk to. But this is where it gets weird. I lost my sense of time and have a whole football seater. You lost your sense of time though. So what I would ask about that, I'm going to go quickly to the bathroom for 1 second after I ask this question. You can answer this question and think about the answer to this question. But This is where it gets weird. I lost my sense of time. So this is where I get a bit, not that I'm questioning what you're saying, but when it's lucid dreaming, you say you lost your sense of time. What does that mean? How would you describe that? I have a whole football see take place. I'm not sure. Sorry, have a whole football see take place in that one dream. But I'm interested in that. I lost my sense of time. Okay, so okay, because does that mean, because like when I get into a lucid dreaming state, I don't necessarily have a sense of time as such. It's kind of like time has a kind of continuity to it. I'm not sure how you feel about that. Seasons take place. Whoops. Seasons take place in that one dream. I just put this back up so I can like reference it because I was trying to like just formulate my reply to it. Lost my sense of time. Explain what you mean. I'm not trying to be confrontational, by the way. I'm not trying to be like angry. I'm just curious. Explain what you mean by I lost my sense of time. And I'll be back in just 1 second. I'll be back in like 1 minute. Sorry, I know I keep going away, but I'll be back in 1 minute. Sorry about that. Anyway, so let me have a look what you said. Like, 'cause lucid dreaming, and we're talking about this kind of stuff. Like, we can get into this stuff for a long time. But anyway, when I start dreaming, I know for no long they are, but it's when I can. So you lost the sense of what? Because okay, I kind of see what you're trying to say. I'm just trying to like formulate a response properly to it because I kind of understand what you're trying to say, and it's so when I start dreaming, I know. Yeah, I do get what you mean. I'm trying to respond properly. I guess it's because time isn't necessarily that delineated, and you kind of like get a bit lost sometimes. When I start dreaming, I know no longer how long they are. But I think when you go deeper and deeper, you don't know how long they are. It gets a bit tricky. Okay, anyway, like my other dreams when they are lucid, would last around 2 hours of my 8 hours sleep. This one, I had no idea how much. So this one that you're talking about, you lost the sense of. Is this the same one that you were talking about? Sorry, that you lost the sense of how long it was. I'm trying to understand it. Sorry, I'm not trying to like take the piss or anything. I'm just trying to understand it because it's interesting. When I started you, I know the hours. When I because that's. Last around 2 hours. How do you know it's 2 hours of your 8 hours? Lucid dreams, when they happen to me, happen in under pressure situations, and that's what I'm kind of like weird about, because I wonder why they happen in like situations where it's a pressure situation. So when I say a pressure situation, I mean a situation where, maybe I've been on like a few days of a bender or something like this. That's when the lucid dreams start to happen. They don't really tend to happen naturally, although I do feel like if I can wander into that realm, I can wander into that realm without being that kind of um, what's the word I'm looking for here? We're kind of like you're flattered or whatever, like or sort of like have any issues with it. It is strange. Lucid dreaming, what is it trying to tell you, or is it just trying to say that you're close to something? You know, is it just trying to tell you that you're close to something? Is it just trying to tell you that when you lucid dream, you're actually sort of getting into a higher dimensional reality, or getting into not just the dream world that you're used to, you're getting into something that's a little bit of a higher dimensional reality. I think that's kind of true. I think that's kind of true. And I think what it is my personal opinion is that, I know this isn't about football. I don't know, we've gone off on the beaten track a little bit, but you and me like to talk about this kind of stuff. So let's get into it. I like to talk about it. We can tie it back to Arsenal in a second anyway. So when we talk about lucid dreaming, I feel that like lucid dreaming could be a connection. It could be like a connection to sort of like a bridge to how we deal with what happens when we pass away. And I know that sounds a little bit kind of like morbid and all this kind of stuff. Fine. If people don't want to listen to that, yeah, you don't have to listen to that. You don't have to tune in or whatever. But what I feel like is that what happens when we have a dream or we have a kind of like dream experience, etc., is if you look at the chemicals in the brain, for example, the serotonin increases and the dimethyltryptamine increases. And so it seems to be something to do with those two chemicals that serve as a light bridge to what can be maybe termed as the fourth dimension, or whatever you want to term it as, whatever sort of like thing you want to maybe cliche it as, all that kind of stuff. Because when you are in a dream, whether it's lucid or not, you know who you are, don't you? But you don't know your name. If you're in a dream, I could come up to you and I could say to you, and I could ask you who you are. You would know who you are, but you won't be able to. You would struggle if I asked you to tell me your name. And this is a sort of interesting thing for me when it comes to this kind of stuff. What that is the dissolution of ego. If you have an ego, you have your name. If you don't have an ego, you just have your pure consciousness. So it makes sense that when you dream, you're kind of like, oh, well, this is me. Yeah, this is me. Who are you then? What's your name? And you're like, I don't know. I find this time, especially you can see how it's out into this. So do you know what it is, AJ, as well? Like when I've had my boozy times and all this kind of stuff, the most intense, introspective, lucid dreams that I've had. The thing is, okay, so how do I, okay, I'm going to have, hang on one second, I'm going to go back to what you said before. I don't know full no, but I'm going to say, how's what my dreams say that? Yeah. Okay, so let's go to this. So I was trying to sort of like formulate a response to this. So yeah, I mean, the close to death idea is something I've been working on recently. Not working on in terms of trying to get close to death, but like what I've thought is that when I get these more hyper lucid dreams, these hyper real dreams, it seems to make sense that they are moving you. I'm sorry to be hesitant and not making this kind of like consistently kind of like flowing. they seem to be moving you towards something that is more afterlife. So it wouldn't surprise me if, like, if you have very, very lucid dreams, that's a way that you're sort of almost connecting to the higher life. And like, look, whenever I've had these lucid dreams, whenever I've had these kind of like times when, like, you just look at your what I do in a lucid, when I'm in a lucid dream, what I do, or I think I'm in a lucid dream, I get my hand and I just go, am I in my lucid dream? I know when I push my hand, I'm in a lucid dream. Or you push the wall. And I try to explain to people that, like, when you push the wall, or when you push something, it's exactly the same as when you are alive. And they don't understand it. So I don't know, AJ. I would ask you, actually, one question I would like to ask you is: have you tried to explain your lucid dreams to people, and how have you found their reactions to that? And I have a big 2 pint of beer, awaiting your reply. I try explaining my dreams. People say I'm crazy or the George. Well, no, no, that's not the case, man. It's not the case. They're wrong. They're wrong, basically. I try explaining my dreams. People say I'm crazy or the George. I mean, number one, how can you how can you say to someone that their dreams are crazy? Oh, are your dreams normal? Jesus Christ, man. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, man. Okay, are their dreams normal? Okay. Well, let's say first I haven't changed my mind. What am I going to say? I was very tempted to say what we need is to get AJ to eat some magic mushrooms. I think you eating some magic mushrooms would be very successful. And also, if you were eating magic mushrooms with me as someone who would help you through it, I say help you through it. That sounds like it's going to be like a chore. It's not a chore. Anyway, yeah, it's like they said you're crazy. I've changed my brain. It says that's crazy. I think a lot of the time people don't understand what the brains are capable of. They don't understand what humans are capable of. They don't understand what reality is capable of. You understand what reality is capable of, right? You understand what these things, what things are capable of. But yeah, it sucks, man. It sucks when people don't fucking understand where you're coming from. But what you have to do with that is you have to deal with that because that's life. The thing is, AJ, that is life. A lot of people won't understand where you're coming from, and that's life. And you kind of got to understand that, and you got to kind of like move along with that and move away with that, and just like do what you want to do with that. So, yeah, as unfortunate as that is how you got to kind of move forward. Nobody is going to think that you're perfect. God knows, I have had so many times in my life where I've done things that are not perfect. I've done things that are not correct. I've done things that I regret. I've done things that hopefully I've learned from. You know, I'm not going to be ruining myself too much because of that. You can't really be kind of like, you can't be annoyed with yourself too much. You can be annoyed with yourself a little bit, smack yourself in the face a little bit, give yourself a little bit of slap a little bit, but you can't give yourself a slap too much because everyone's in the same situation. There is no entity that has kind of like born itself and drawn itself and like dragged itself up that hasn't had a lot of difficulties. There isn't one. And if it is trying to say there is one, it ain't worth messing around with it because it's chatting a load of shit. It's chatting a load of shit. I will never be perfect. That's okay. Yeah, no, none of us will ever be perfect, man. And that's the point. The point is not to worry about that and not to worry about being perfect and not to worry about like, oh, what can we do to that? No, it's not the way. It's not the way. I thought my fan was about to. My hesitation, sorry, was because my fan was starting to not work. I got one fan here, one fan there, and this fan here, and it's all trying to sort of like maybe. What phone? What's this? What phone? I don't know, man. But yeah, so whatever is kind of like holding you back, if there is anything holding you back, well, like talk to me. Like what annoys you, AJ? What annoys you about like trying to get ahead or whatever? Because I'm not like a life coach or anything, but I can fucking help and everything. Um, or we can just talk about Arsenal and go like Arsenal is shit and let us get Arteta out of the club. Okay, hang on a second. What is interesting? I can't lucid dream when I'm in hospital. So you don't think that? So my thing with lucid dreaming is kind of like close to death. So you don't think when it's close, when you're close to death. Sorry, to I'm not trying to trivialize it, but like I'm just trying to kind of look at it in terms of lucid deafness, lucid dreamness. Sorry, you don't lucid dream when you're. Well, how do you know you're close to death, though? Okay, so I would challenge that to say, how would you know that you're close to death? You can't lucid dream when you're close to death. How do you know that? Would be my question. I have to drink this big fucking German beer. Also, I'll talk about. I had a mad out of body experience as well. So I'll talk about the out of body experience. If you guys are up for it, if AJ is still here, I can go whatever. I can go whatever. How long? Okay. How did I know that? Because I got. So what is the thing now, though? Like, so you're 25 now, right? You're 25 now, right? So you're getting stronger and you're getting able to sort this out. So follow that through. 26. Yeah, exactly. 26 now. Follow that through. Can you? Or am I just being like a dickhead? Am I just being like a dickhead or whatever? Like, I want you to follow that through because I think you're a good guy. You're definitely a good guy. Fucking hell. AJ's like, you're definitely a good guy. I want to, what the fuck? I just did that and that. Just a load. God, that caused a load of electricity to just go. That was weird. There was a load of electricity just shot over there. And I did that. Okay, it didn't happen again. Okay, great. Okay, that happened once and it didn't happen again. Anyway, yes. So what was I saying? I completely forgot what I was saying. I'm sorry. I am a nobody more. Nothing. Yeah, don't. For God's sake. What makes you say that? Because you can do things that a lot of people can't do. So if you can do things that a lot of people can't do, how does that make you a nobody? Explain to me how you're a nobody if you can do things that a lot of people can't do. Also, if you can stay here for a little bit and go for a toilet one last time, and then maybe do another half hour till 3 hours. If you can, like here, sorry, if you can stay here, AJ, can you? Are you? What do you want? How long have you got left? You've got another like half an hour. Do another 40 minutes, yeah. We'll do another 40 minutes till three. I'll do 3 hours, yeah. We'll do 3 hours. All right, just give me 1 sec. I'll be back. I'll be back. Oh, you can do that easy. You can do that easy. Well, okay, we'll do another fucking 6 hours then, bitch. Don't fuck me up like this. Like, so I'm going to do 6 hours. The thing is, people like you who are like, you go, oh, I can do this easily. And then, okay, we'll do 6 hours then. 6 hours. Do no 7 hours. Let's do 7 hours then. Let's see how we go. Anyway, I like it. I like it, man. I like it, man. I like talking to you. I like chilling with you. But just give me 1 fucking second. I'll be back. Sorry, I have not put the microphone on, and now I have put the microphone on. Thank you, AJ, for sorting that out. AJ is a legend. Anyway, what I was trying to say is I used to have an not unfortunate actually. Basically, what we used to have is you just have a White House. The White House used to be down at the end of the road. The road was far, far, far away, and it was down a private beaten track. The White House was about the big size of the White House. And the White House was inaccessible. That White House was inaccessible. And one of these days, I was in my house, in my bedroom, and I was flying in my dreams, towards that. And that White House was not accessible because it had a private road going towards it. I hope you can hear me now. AJ, yes, you can hear me. That's good. I messed it up. Yeah, I messed it up before. So basically, my point is that, like, when I was like 7 or 8 years old, I have this fucking lucid dream where I went out and I kind of like flowed down to the White House and I came back. But the thing is, when I came back, I did all these things that are kind of like usual for a lucid dream, i.e., kind of like went boom, 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 down into the body. So you kind of like flowed down into the body. And that was not without, that was a situation where I had in like the late 90s where I didn't know what it was, right? The point being that I didn't know that I was supposed to do that. I didn't know that I was supposed to do whatever going down into, my body in the bed. I didn't know I was supposed to flow down into the body. I didn't know anything of what was supposed to happen because I was 6 years old. It was 1992. There was no internet. There was no movies. There was nothing to tell me what I was supposed to do. There was nothing to tell me what I was supposed to do. And yet I did the things that acquiesced with the archetypal things that you hear that you do when you die with your body and stuff like that. So I don't know, man. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. But like, I like to hear other people's stories about this kind of stuff. I like to hear other people's stories about kind of like what you've experienced in terms of like, dreams and all this kinds of like. Me and AJ talk about dreams all the time. Man, like AJ's like an absolute G in terms of like lucid dream. Like this guy, lucid dreams like 2 or 3 times a week. That's ridiculous. That is a ridiculous level of lucid dreaming. Bro, that is a ridiculous level of lucid dreaming. And like, I would lucid dream constantly all the time if I could. And I would actually send you I actually could find you. Maybe I could learn, if you're still here, bro, AJ, if you're still here, I will read you. Have I read you my most amazing lucid dream ever before? I'll read it to you if you're still here, and then we'll decide what we're doing for that. But like, is it still here? Fuck's sake, this thing is not. Oh, fucking hell, man, it's not here. Where is it? I did write it out. I wrote it out, man. Where is it? I think this is it. You bitch. Come on. Oh, for fuck's sake. All right. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, okay, I'm going to read this. So let me read this now, yeah? So basically, if you're here, yeah, I see you're here. Lovely stuff. Yeah, we're going to continue. We're going to go. We can go whatever, how many hours we want. It doesn't matter. We go another fucking 5 hours. Who cares? So, okay, so I had a very strange experience when going to sleep last night, which was sort of like DMT. I will drink beer at the same time as I sleep. as I talk this. I hope someone can relate to this. But basically, on June the 1st, I tried DMT vape, but nothing happened. Presumably, it was a dud. Part of my preparation for that was the vape, which was my first try of DMT. But I've been watching YouTube simulations just to get a rough idea what to expect. Nothing worked. Fast forward to this week. Last few days, my sleep has been bad. Last night was the same. Struggling for hours. Finally dropped off briefly, had an ominous dream, but awoke quickly. Then, when I closed my eyes again, I bizarrely started seeing tunnels very similar to these simulations. Do you know what? I'm going to do this a bit more succinctly. What happened was, basically, I started seeing tunnels succinct to the normal tunnels that you would see in terms of, DMT simulations. And I was comfortably transported to the level of awareness that I was kind of comfortable with. That sounds a bit weird, I suppose. But yeah, so yeah, I never where's the thing gone? Sorry. So basically, I've just for fuck's sake, I just closed it. I will read the thing. I'm going to read the thing. I was going to read the thing in a second. I just closed it. It's gone. Sorry, just bear with me one sec. I will read it. It's a good read. Oh, for God's sake, where is it? Read, blah, blah, blah. Fuck's sake. Read, where is it? Okay, here we go. I think you've heard it before. AJ, I'm sure you've heard it before. Open it. Why you open it? Open it. It's so stupid. It won't open. Why won't you open, you bitch? Sorry, AJ, one second. Okay, so yeah, so basically I had tried to be doing stuff like DMT wise, but it hadn't worked. But I went to sleep and I took over, and it took my full vision and attention. So much like the simulations that you see on the YouTube channels, it was kind of like saw the underground with the pillars. So somebody like me who has lucid dreamt many times, it felt different. It felt like every point was a bit broken up and I couldn't stabilize it. I was meeting people seemingly at a bar, went up some stairs, not quite fully lucid, then I woke up again. But the next part is pretty crazy. Hopefully you can hear this. Hopefully you're hearing this. So yeah, I closed my eyes. Oh, come on, dickhead. What are you doing? I closed my eyes, and again, once more the tunnels returned. I was whisked along, and quickly and suddenly I was clean through and fully lucid. In fact, this was more real. So basically, what I'm saying is this is more real than lucid. This is more real. So basically, what I was trying to explain is it's more real than lucid. It's very difficult to actually really describe that specifically. As someone who is very experienced in lucid dreams, this felt very different, more advanced, more real. I very clearly remember the two most authentic lucid dreams of my life. But this was beyond that. Very difficult to articulate. So it had a feel of Blade Runner, but when Kate is taken in by the underground colony, it felt like the near future, but with a retro vibe and not an unhappy vibe. It's not unhappy, it's not sad. People were happily socializing around me, flirtatiously even. Brown skin, curly hair, big curly hair. She told me her name was abstracanus in error code. And I was like, I didn't get that. Sorry. This is, abstracanus in error code. Abstracanus in error code is the fucking key. I didn't get that. Sorry. She told me not to worry because I would remember it. It had the feel that as a new person I had been chosen by her and we were now paired to some degree, if that makes sense. Well, maybe not, that might not be right, but anyway, I must reiterate though, as cheesy as this is starting to sound, this was lucid in a way I've never ever experienced before. It was like a real life movie, but even more real. I finally bumped into someone I thought was like the abstracanus girl, but it was a different girl, but it looked similar. It all got confusing. She claimed to be her though, and obviously being a bit confused, I just accepted it, hung out with her. Shortly after, I had a feeling of things changing, seemingly from behind me, like it was time to go back. It's like he gets that drag, doesn't he? He tries to drag you from behind, and it was bloody strange. Bloody strange. So yeah, I butchered that a little bit, but like I hope that you enjoyed to some degree that. I think it was sort of like, and yeah, I don't know if you enjoyed that, but like that's just the kind of thing that I've had. That's the kind of most. That's the most. That's definitely the most poignant and specific and identifying experience that I've had. Well, yeah. No, I'm glad. I'm glad. Whoops. And that was only half the thing as well, by the way. That's only half the thing. So, whoops. How long have you got left, AJ? How long have you got left? I'm going to the toilet in a sec. Just give me, just tell me how have you got, for fuck's sake, I can't even talk. How long have you got left? Because I might have a little bit of food soon. All right. Shit, I might go to 3 hours, 20 minutes. Am I doing the 20 minutes? Let me know. 20 minutes, yeah? Yeah, you can go longer than 20 minutes if you want. If you're able to stay around for more than 20 minutes, let me know. I can do more than 20 minutes. It's fine. But I was just like throwing it out there as a possibility. But if it's 20 minutes, it's fine. That's cool. To mean something and for football, look, our football club to be better is like we need more people like you, me, trying to push it and trying to push it and trying to make it better. That's the thing. and we're kind of like struggling a little bit. Unfortunately, I'm not trying to like make it negative or anything, but we are struggling to find people who are pushing it this way, because everybody wants it like, oh, this is acceptable, you know? Yeah, do you know what? We can do an hour if you want. I just do another hour. Fuck it, I don't care. I could do another. I could go to 4 hours. If you're, just depends on you. If you want to stick around, we could do another four. Or we can do another like hour and 15 minutes. And we could talk about lucid dreams. We can talk about aliens. We could talk about the universe. We could talk about the mad things that are happening and coming into the universe right now. Or if you don't want, it's fine. I don't care. I'm quite cool to chill. So yeah, I'm gonna put some LTG Bookham on. If you go, I'm gonna put some LTG Bookham on because my neighbours don't exist here. So I'm gonna put. I found an LTG Bookham set which was quite nice. It's only half an hour long as well, so I can just like put it on. Why is this thing not working? Well, the universe is something no one fully understands. I mean, no one, I mean, if you did fully understand the universe, that would be quite interesting. You're not going to fully understand it. All you need to do is understand that there are kind of like a lot of other humans out there, and they're not necessarily wanting to meet us, but they're just necessarily trying to get by. And, you know, if you don't think there are other aliens out there, you're going to have to explain to me how there are no other aliens in 50,000 trillion universes. Sorry, 50,000 trillion galaxies. If you don't think there are any aliens in 50,000 trillion galaxies, it's incumbent on you to explain to me how that's the case. And so far, nobody has. Well, it seems to be as simple as a Big Bang. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like, so what me and James kind of tend to argue about is that I don't think there is just one universe. I think there are multiple universes, and I think it's kind of like space exists. Space exists as a, you have to, if you want, if you need things to happen, you have to put them somewhere. So space has to exist, and that's kind of like how I think about it. I might be massively wrong, of course. There's definitely, okay, yeah. Obviously, there's definitely life out there. Definitely. I mean, if you're going to sort of like talk about like 50,000, if someone's going to come up to you and go like, yeah, you know, there's 50,000 trillion universes. Why do I keep saying universes? 50,000 trillion galaxies out there, but we don't think there's any life out there. We are chatting a load of breeze. We are chatting a load of breeze. And, you know, the universe is something none of us fully understand, and we're not really meant to fully understand. What I guess we need to do is we need to try to understand how to bend the reality to our way. That's also quite tricky. But at the end of the day, like at the end of the day, it's, you know, it's just a way of trying to kind of like understand. You got to try and sort of read how things who that are not necessarily sort of tangible will kind of like interact with each other. I'm not sure if that makes any sense. But anyway, yeah. So there is absolutely definitely. If you're somebody who doesn't think there is other life out there, you are absolute moron. You have to be absolute moron to think that there's not other life out there. Like, what would you like? Like, why would you think that? Why would you think that? And they try to make a load of excuses, and the excuses is awful. It, the excuses are actually awful. And the problem, so okay, so the thing with all this is it's not always necessarily happening now. It could be necessarily happening at another time. So it could be happening at different time periods. So if you think about it, like say the Earth is 4 billion years old, in those 4 billion years, there could have been aliens that existed on other planets, in other places, because it's 4 billion years, right? So that's the kind of thing. It's a little bit more tricky than just like, oh well, there's aliens existing now and all this kind of stuff. There's aliens that they exist now. It's not quite the fact that they exist now. It's just that they might have existed. They could future exist, and it's a little bit more tricky than that. I fully believe they're smart. Yeah, yeah, definitely smarter life than the US. So probably most likely, we're being watched, and we're not smart enough to, or most of us aren't smart enough to understand. I think you're right. I fully believe there's smarter life than us in the galaxy. Yes, there are. There's very much smarter life than us in the galaxy. It's quite true. They just don't. Well, they just yeah, they just watch. Yeah, they just watch, and they're not going to give you the tools necessarily straight away to progress. That's the kind of thing. So yeah, no, I absolutely fully agree with you. I love the alien chat, man. I love the alien chat. The alien chat is good. I mean, did you see what was happening with X with the everything talking about the oh, the interstellar visitors are coming here? Did you see this, AJ, about these idiots who are talking about the interstellar visitors? They're not interstellar visitors. They're just being stupid. If I can find, I'm going to try and find the link. Hang on a second. It's trending. Always trending. Okay, great. It's not trending to be much, is it? It's not trending to be much because it's nothing. So basically, so essentially what it is a comet that is named 3 Atlas has entered into our solar system. I may have mentioned this before. It's not going to hit the Earth. It's not going to be a problem. So, for anyone who's joined us late, because we have been here for a few hours, what have we been doing? We've been doing 2 hours 52, man. We've done 2 hours 52. We've been doing all right, man. We've been doing all right. How long do you want to go? I'm up for doing however long. Let's be real. If this other life wanted us all dead, yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, I don't think it's like that. Yeah, I don't think it's like that. I think that they're more kind of like they're not really interested in stuff that happens like 3 dimensionally. I think they're interested in more stuff that happens 4 dimensionally. So I don't really think it's like a massive problem. Um, AJ, how long can you stay around for? We're on 2 hours 52. How long can you stay around for? It's 5:20 here by me. Let me know. I'm going to go bathroom quickly. Let me know how long you want to stay around for, and then we'll do that. Oh, okay, yeah. So let's do, yeah, we're doing another 15 minutes or so. That's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So, yeah, what I was talking about was, do you know what? Do you know what's kind of weird as well is like the amount of covering up of stuff. Like the amount of stuff that's on the verge of being released, and then it's, oh no, we're not going to be released. Okay. Anyway, I would tell a little story. Did I tell a little story about the UFO that came? That's sort of like zesty above my house. Did I tell the story, AJ, about the fact that I had like quite a when I lived at home, when I lived at back in Yorkshire, I used to live in a flight path, and then there was like different kind of like different types of vehicles that used to sort of like head over the flight path. I'm not sure if I told those stories because there was one that was a UFO, which was like a crazy story. So basically, like the story was like, so basically, what it was like we were a house on a hill. There was no house anywhere near us. And do you know what? This is what I'm drinking from now. This is ridiculous. This is what I'm drinking from. I tell you what, I was going to say, in fact, I'll fill it up in a second, but I'll fill it up in a second. So we were in a house on a hill, and the airport was down there. So what you would have is you would have planes coming from back here down there, and it was like that was the direction of the plane farers. So one day or night, I was in bed. I could hear something coming from back there. It's coming from back here. It's coming from back here. It's coming along. It's coming from here. I'm like, okay, it's just kind of usual. It's coming from back here. It's coming back. And then it stops. It stops on top. That's not meant to be sexual. It stops on top. And then all I can hear, so I'm in bed at this point because it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like a Tuesday. All I can hear, what the best thing I can describe it as is a throbbing. And that sounds, again, pause. It sounds like a throbbing. And I'm kind of like, fuck, what do I do? What do I do? Do I go and look at it? What the hell do I do? I'm kind of like scared, obviously. Like I'm really scared about like what I might do, like what I might see, And I'm kind of like, fuck, okay, I'm going to go and look at it. So I clamber out of my bed, sort of, and I stumble over to the big window. As soon as I get to the window, and it's gone. It's gone, and there's silence, absolute silence. Now, I will not say necessarily that is an alien spacecraft, because it could have been something to do with the army, something military related, something like that. But it was a very, very strange thing. Very, very strange thing. So I kind of believe that this is kind of normal. It's normal for there to be strange things like this. It's normal for the government to be doing these kind of like experiments. It's normal, isn't it? Surely it's normal. The idea that there's something like right above your ceiling that's throbbing and throbbing and throbbing. Rum, 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 rum. The idea that it's right there throbbing away. Pause. Seems a bit weird to me. it does seem a bit weird to me because not only was that an unusual thing, you would hear things that would come from the back over or from like kind of this way over. You wouldn't necessarily hear things that would just stop and like do things and all this kind of stuff. So it was a very, very unusual sound because it would come from the back and then down towards the front. It was not usual to hear something come from the back and then stop above the house. Very, very unusual. Very, very unusual. However, no one can prove it either way. No one can prove this shit either way. That's the thing. That's the thing we love about this. That's the thing we love about this. That's the thing that was about Yorkshire as well. Yorkshire was a place that had a lot of these kind of like sightings, a lot of these kind of like misdemeanors, a lot of these kind of like, oh, what the hell is going on? But also, it had a lot of tech. It had a lot of military-based tech that was going on over. So it was kind of confusing. So you don't really know what was going on. So this is kind of like an issue. This is kind of like a big issue because you just like, okay, so is it aliens or is it like tech? I think a lot of the time it is tech. This is something that I've come out with, or I've come around with recently. It's not necessarily the aliens. The aliens are there, most probably from the Orion Nebula, and most probably just kind of like looking in a way that you don't necessarily realize. But they're not always there in our videos. That's the thing. Also, this is also this basically this video was supposed to be about how Arsenal transfers aren't very good, but then they're not. We didn't really kind of cover that, did we? We didn't really kind of cover that. Okay, so yo, AJ, are you around? I'm gonna like head off in a second. I think this is gonna be like good enough. I'm gonna head off. I'm gonna have another drink and some food, and this is some music. Okay, I'll stay around for a little bit. How do you feel about AI? Because we don't want, yeah. So I feel AI. I feel that AI. Well, it depends how it's integrated. It depends how it's programmed to integrate. I think personally that AI is going to be mostly beneficial. I think AI is going to be mostly beneficial. It's not going to result in real life Terminator, in my opinion. I think you've got to cultivate it to a certain way, and I think we are cultivating it in a certain way that is beneficial, by the way. So, how do you feel? Answer your own question, AJ. How do you feel about AI? What's your answer? What's your answer? How do you feel about AI? Do you want it to be prominent? Do you think it's going to be Terminator? How do you feel? I feel like AI could be doing Terminator. Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't think we'll. I don't know, actually. The problem is, It depends what you're using it for. So I mean, if you're plugging AI into like, oh, you're going to make like a companion or something like this, it's not going to be so bad. Or AI and Chat GPT 5, 6, 7, it's not going to be so bad. But yeah, if AI becomes dangerous because it gets into a more sort of like autonomous thing, that could be a problem. That could definitely be a problem, because what you do is you have a situation where it is trying to most logically navigate reality in the best way possibly. And to some degree, and to a lot of a degree, we want humans to pull that back. So, it's a good question. It's a good question. It could become dangerous, but it depends how you talk to it. I think you have to talk to it in the right way. And I think, like, being able to talk to AI and being able to talk to it to a degree of making it do things is going to become a more sort of professional thing soon. What do you think? I think 2030 is going to be the year, man. I think 2030 is going to be the year that it's going to be very, very tricky, let's say. I think 2030 is going to be the year where you're going to see a lot of changes. Let me neck this beer and I'm going to come back. We'll be on 3 hours, 7 minutes, light work. I'm going to neck this beer. I'm going to come back. Just bear with me 1 second. I actually had it as 2030. So I think in 2030 it's going to be a lot different. You're not necessarily not going to be a human, but you're going to be having so many different options. So many different options as how do I explain it? You're going to have so many different kind of like it's difficult to explain because it's not happened yet. But I think there'll be like a lot of AI type options integral with your brain capacity and your yeah. I know that sounds a bit wishy washy. Sorry, because it hasn't happened yet. Well, I think 2030 is definitely the year where there's going to be a lot of different changes. 2035, the new golden era. Yeah, no doubt. It depends what you think the new golden era is. It depends what you think. Do you think the? Have you seen? Okay, so AJ, have you seen Blade Runner 2049? If not, I'll play you a nice scene. Have you seen Blade Runner 2049? I'll play you a nice scene. I might with some copyright, but I'll play it because I like the scene a lot. Because it's a vision of the future, basically. I'll find the scene. Here we go. Um, Yeah, there we go. What? What? You crazy person. You motherfucker. You crazy person. Have you not seen that? It's okay. I need to play this without it being copyrighted. So one of the ideas behind this is, I don't know. The thing is, I don't know how much you know about plagiarism. I don't know how much to say about it. I guess one of the ideas behind this is the replicant, the human, is coming home to someone who's going to be like kind of like carer, not carer, but like what we're going to sort of like properly and enjoy in some sense soon, in terms of like the sort of virtual reality. So I don't know if I'm going to get copyright for this because you really need to hear the music. But you know what? Fuck it. Well, let's do it. Let's see the music. I'm gonna, yeah. Okay, if I get copyrighted, I don't care anymore. I don't care. It's a really good scene. So let's watch this. Who was it? Fuck off. Do you know what? Fuck it. Trying to get it to work is just annoying me. The outside scene. So I can't see anything. Sorry, one second. All right, cool. I got it. So, let's have a look at this. Why are you being so? I'll do this then. Why are you so bad? Is it so slow? Why are you so slow? Oh, you're so slow now. What are you doing now? Do you? So slow. Okay, I'm gonna do this. 1 second. Uh, Sorry about the delay. Bear with me 1 second. See, the point is, so before I do this, the point is that the man is a sort of human essentially, and the girl is not a human, and she's sort of like an AI basically. It's how he interacts with her. How do I do this? Here we go. Can I do this? For God's sake. Here we go. Can you hear? Can you hear this? Oh, for fuck's sake! Why is this so difficult? No, 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 no. I need to. Do the fucking thing. Here we go. I don't care. Oh, you can hear that. So what he's doing, he's trying to like interact with AI. She's the AI. Okay. So she's the AI. The music is nice, and everything is nice. And she's like, "Oh, I'm feeling this kind of Too much on my hands. I'm going to get copyrighted so for this. It's a really great scene.
I'm so happy when I'm with you.
You don't have to say that.
No. Oh, anyway.
The dig's come through. We have a new lead. Get down here.
Well, yeah. That was annoying. It was kind of like what? I need to get my arse in here. I need to get my arse in here. Sorry. We've been on for 3 hours 20 minutes, guys. We've been here. I've been here for 3 hours 20 minutes. Like, hit the like button. Fucking hell, anyone's been listening. Hit the like button and subscribe. Fucking hell, like 3 hours. I've been doing 3 hours. Anyway, so what are we doing 3 hours? This is irritating. This is irritating me. Okay, so whatever. I would put the what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do, AJ? What are we doing? How long do you have left, AJ? Yeah, do you know what, AJ? Do you know what? That's a good. This is a good message because I need to go to sleep as well. That we're doing this a good amount of time. So yeah, be up to you. 3 20 minutes is good. 3 hours 20 minutes is good. Absolutely love to have your company. I love talking to you, man. Like, you're fucking nice to talk to you, man. Well, I got to bed. Yeah, we got to go to bed, man. We both got to go to bed. I think we should do this now. Not together, obviously. That's a bit weird. So big up to you. Big up to everyone else who's been listening. Smash a fucking like. Smash a fucking subscribe. We've been doing 3 hours, man. 3 hours. And we haven't even been, trying that hard. 3 hours, man. Big up to you. And yeah, that's it, man. Let's do it. Have a good sleep, AJ. I'll see you in the next couple of days. If not tomorrow, I'll see you in the next couple of days. Lovely to have your company. I'll go live tomorrow at some point, and hopefully you can come on and we'll keep talking. But have a good sleep. Have a good lucid dream. And yeah, love it, man. Really appreciate you being here, and like, you're a fucking star, man. Fucking star. Big up.